Hi,
Hello, Chaz. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you today?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
Oh, God, I'm 36, 1987.
36. Fantastic. All right. What are your thoughts on the topic? Should LGBT plus matters be taught in school or at home?
Um, can I just ask, when you say taught in school, what do you mean? Do you mean like have like one day where there's like like for example, there's Black History Month. So do you mean like an LGBTQ History Month? Or do you mean like as in a lesson every week? Or
I mean, interwoven into the current curriculum. For instance, when we're talking about World War II, we can also teach about Alan Turing.
okay, yeah. So I understand he was a gay man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So okay, um, yeah. I mean, I don't know why it's relevant what his sexual preference was, but yeah, I can understand. Yeah, I can understand the fact that we could kind of not incorporate it, but just sort of mention it, to show that there were LGBT people around these times and how good they did for the country or the world, for example. But I don't think it should be like taught. Like, do you know what I mean by taught?
I don't. If you could be more specific, that'd be awesome.
Um, well, I mean, it's a natural thing. So I don't think. I'm trying to think of my words to put them correctly. So it's a natural thing. So I think people just kind of discover it as they grow. When we talk about teaching, like, I don't understand what we could teach about really. I mean, we could mention, in geography, history classes that, this LGBT person did this in history, and which, is great. But I don't know what else we could teach.
Sure. I basically mean the whole package. Like when we're talking about kids, we're talking about family dynamics. Some kids have a mom and a dad. Some kids have two moms. And when we're talking about sex education, which typically happens around fifth grade or so, we can make sure we're also incorporating LGBT matters into that. And then, like in history, we can talk about the pink triangle. We can talk about Alan Turing, that kind of stuff. We want to make sure that kids know that there's nothing wrong with being LGBT.
Okay, so do you mean that as in like we have like a certain day of the year where we like dedicate it to like learning about, or are you talking about like sort of everyday learning, incorporating it
interwoven into the current curriculum? Like I said, like one of the things that's taught in like first grade is family dynamics. Like they have you draw a picture of your family, and the kids are going to see all different types of families as a result of that. They're going to see families that have a mom and a dad and three siblings. They're going to see families that have just a dad. They're going to see families that have a dad and a dad.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get that then. So, like, kids should be free to say, like, I have two moms or two dads. It shouldn't be something that should. Probably you're the same age as me. Well, roughly the same age. I'm 36. I don't know how old you are, but when we were. Oh, you're the same. Oh, when we was in school, we didn't really have to learn about it. You just knew these people existed, and that was kind of it. And
but that's the thing, though. I didn't know that trans people existed. I did know that gay people existed, but I didn't know that trans people existed.
Really, even after the age of like 14, 15.
Yeah, no, I did not know that trans people existed. I only knew about lesbian, gay, bi. I didn't know about the other sexualities. I definitely didn't know about LGBT history. I didn't know anything about Heart Milk. I didn't know anything about Alan Turing. I didn't know about the pink triangle.
To be fair, I don't know what the pink triangle is. What is that, if you don't mind educating me?
Pink triangle is something that prisoners in Germany during World War II had to wear on their outfits.
Oh,
LGBT.
There was LGBT.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even know that. I'll have a look after that. But I mean, even now, like I'm in England, so you're in America, but even my niece and nephews, they're from the ages of like 9 to 15, and like they've got gay friends at school. They know all about trans people, everything. I think it's just kind of like natural now for the UK, I suppose. But everyone in school now is sort of open about who they are. When I was in school, we wasn't. So I don't really know what they could teach them much more.
But
I mean, yes, definitely about
by making sure we include queer people in our education, we make that enables queer people to have the tools to come out. The more education there is, the more visibility there is, the more comfortable a queer person is going to be, the less likely we are to be bullied, etc. We see stats that show that in schools that are not inclusive of queer people, about 65% of queer people are bullied versus 55% in schools that are accepting and teach others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. So would you like to have it like as a monthly thing then in schools, like a specific lesson, or weekly? Like
I'm not looking for an LGBT class.
Right. Okay.
I just like when we're in history, when we're in our history class and we're talking about World War II, there are LGBT people that were relevant to World War II, and LGBT people were affected by World War II. So, we work that into the current curriculum.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I suppose I was quite opposed before I joined, but I can see your point now. Like, if it's incorporated into a general lesson, that's not an extra, or I agree. Yeah, it's important to learn that the history of people who fought for the country, created things that we have nowadays that were LGBT. So. You've slightly changed my mind then. Yeah,
right, awesome. Fantastic.
I would say that would be a good thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Chaz. I appreciate you coming on.
Great. Thank you very much, Dora. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Pumpka, I saw your message. Thank you so much. I'll read it after the live. Thank you. And thank you for everything you've done for me as well, Pumpka. Okay. All right. Keep tapping that screen, guys. Share the live. Let's see if we can get this up to 700 viewers. So we got 10 shares. Let's get that up to 100 shares, and everyone tap the screen 50 times. How long am I going to be live for? I'm typically live for 3 hours for my morning live, though I don't have a set end time.
Hi, how you doing? Good morning.
Hello, Gio. How you doing?
I'm 35 years old.
Thank you for the ice cream. Gio, you're 35, fantastic. Should LGBT matters be taught at school or at home?
I'm gonna give you my point of view. For me, that's your parents' responsibility. You know what I mean? That's something that your parents should teach you at home. Because it's not something that you learn in school, it's something that you learn in life.
Okay, so your argument is that we learn about sexuality and gender identity just through normal day-to-day interactions, and we don't need to be taught.
That's my opinion, because it's like I teach my son about the streets, I teach my son about the drugs, I teach my son about the gangs and everything. That's my responsibility to teach my son, but they ain't gonna teach you that in school. That's my responsibility as a parent.
My concern is that there are a significant amount of parents that don't like the LGBT community, that they think there's something wrong with us.
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
Right. They're going to teach their kids bad things about being LGBT. For me personally, I had parents that were very accepting of the LGBT community, but they didn't know about transgender people, so they didn't teach me about transgender people. The end result was that there was this huge part of me that I didn't know about. Gio, you have a lot of bad background audio. It's almost like an echo.
Oh, I think my air conditioning. It's better now?
Is it better? No, you still got an echo. Are you on Bluetooth?
Yeah, I'm on Bluetooth. Let me turn the Bluetooth off.
Okay.
Now?
All right. How's it sound now? All right, we're good. We're
Okay,
good.
okay. I had the Bluetooth on my car.
Okay. So how do we address that? Like, because obviously all queer kids deserve to learn about themselves, but some parents aren't going to teach them anything or going to teach them bad things. What do we do in that situation?
Yeah, I get that point, but in my situation, I talk to my kids about everything, about the LGBT, about gay, about lesbians, about drugs, about everything, because when you walk out the doors of your house, when you hit the real life, it's hard, and they don't teach you all these things in school.
Sure, you're right. It is hard. So let's give kids the tools that they need to have an opportunity to thrive. LGBT kids exist, and we need to know about ourselves. Someone has to teach us.
Yeah. But my point is, if my kids are straight, they can get confused about that in school.
How old are your kids? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer that.
No, it's okay. My kid is 17 and the other one is 13 years old.
Okay. It is certainly not atypical for a kid to know if they're straight or gay at that age, but it's also entirely possible. My cat just scratched the heck out of my leg. It's also typical for people to explore later in life, to figure things out later on in life. So it is entirely possible that your kids are part of the LGBT community still.
Yeah, I got a niece that she's 13 years old and she already likes girls too. Like we're open in that conversations.
Awesome. That's great. I'm really glad that you're open about those conversations. I think that's awesome. But still, what are we going to do about parents who don't teach about the LGBT community?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, it's 2024 and our parents got to be open to that conversation. But it's true what you say. Like, not everybody like the LGBT community, and they're gonna say bad things. So it's debatable.
Right. So how do we help those kids then that are in that situation?
Like, make a full school of that, not in every school.
A school for LGBT people.
Yeah.
Why do LGBT people need a separate school? Why can't we be part of normal? Why can't we be part of the same community as everyone else? Why do we have to be separated?
But that way you're gonna avoid bullying. That way you're gonna avoid a lot of things.
Sure, I would imagine that an LGBT exclusive school would result in less bullying related to being LGBT,
Yeah.
but it would also separate us from our communities. Why is that desirable?
It's not desirable. It's that I think about if you give that classes in a normal school, there's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna be bullying LGBT kids and all that. You know what I mean? That's not normal. You're a freak, blah blah blah. And to avoid all that, so you do exclusive school.
And who's going to pay for these schools?
Not the parents that love their kids.
So it's going to happen to be, it's not going to be the taxpayers. It's not going to be public school. It's going to be private school.
Man, yeah. It depends, because the government right now is like open to this stuff. Not Salvador. In Salvador, the president of the Salvador is illegal right now teaching all these things in school.
Okay. So, Mike, I have a few concerns here. First of all, if we make it private schools, then that's going to add a layer of financial privilege to whether or not
you can talk to the government. You can talk to the government. So
okay, all right, let's talk about that now. Like, are for every one school for cisgender heterosexual people, are we going to have an equal school for LGBT people?
I would have do it.
Sorry.
I would have done it if I'm a president or something. I would have do everything to. Sure. Everybody feel comfortable, but it's not the real life.
Already underfunded significantly, doubling the amount of schools just to create a separate space for LGBT people isn't practical.
Yeah. What I am, I don't got. I'm a straight person, but I got family. I got my cousin that he's from the LGBT. I got my niece. I got family members there. And I love them to death. I don't got nothing against them.
Fantastic. And I'm sure you believe that they deserve to be treated well by society and to have the same opportunity to participate in all aspects of society, right?
For sure. If my son comes out, I'm gonna love him the same way or more.
Right, but that means that we don't want to separate LGBTQ people. We want to include LGBTQ people.
Yeah, but if it's my situation with my son, I'm gonna teach that in my house.
Great, I believe that you will, Gio. I think that's awesome. But that's not the concern here. The concern here is the parents that won't teach their kids or will teach their kids bad.
I don't know what to tell you right there because I don't think like other people. You know, I'm sorry. And thank you for bringing me up here because, you know, I'm open-minded. I'm not like the other people that talk shit about the people that are not like them or they're different or something like that. I see everybody like human beings. You know, everybody deserves to be loved. That's it.
All right. Gio, thank you for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Okay. How are we doing today, everyone? Everyone, guys, keep tapping that screen. Remember, we are still fundraising for a family in Palestine. Shadia, like Luke and his family, are trapped in Gaza. They're trying to raise 30,000 euros to get out of Gaza. And you can help by clicking on my profile, clicking on my link tree, and then clicking on their GoFundMe. If you have the ability to send a little bit, it would be greatly appreciated if you would do so. If you have the ability to. If you don't, that's totally fine. There are other things that you can do that'll also help. For instance, you can share their GoFundMe, or you can view any of the first few videos on my page, which are all about this fundraiser. You can like, share, comment, etc. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Wings are crazy today. Fucking right, they're crazy. Right, kids don't need to learn empathy and acceptance of different people. I feel like that was sarcasm, Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
Hi, Adora. Hello.
How old are you, Kai?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
I'm 34. I was
34.
born in 89.
Thank you for the ice cream, Ava. Okay, so Kai, should LGBT matters be taught in school or at home?
My background is I come from a pretty religious family. I'm from Finland.
Okay.
And we never ever talked about these things at home. And
Okay.
I grew up in the 90s, so there were no talking about these things at school also. And I'm non-binary and I'm pansexual, and I didn't know about any of this. I sometimes got a crush on a girl, sometimes for a guy, and I was so confused, like, what the heck am I? I knew about there were lesbians and homosexuals, but that's about it. I didn't know anything. So because no one taught me at home, I would have been happier if they would have taught these things at school. So I would have get to know who I am better, earlier than I did. If you
Yes, exactly.
get what I mean.
That's my story as well. Like I'm transgender. I'm a lesbian. And while my parents taught me about lesbians and gay people, they didn't teach me about trans people, and nobody taught me about trans people. So I was behind.
Nobody
benefited tremendously.
taught me either.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy when I came out of closet. My parents were like, "Oh yeah, we knew." I was like, "What the fuck? Why didn't you talk about this?" And they were like, "Oh, we knew. You didn't hide anything from us." And I was like, "Okay." But I have a son who is 16 years old, and we totally have talked about these things at home very often. And he's straight, and he's, he thinks LGBTQ plus people are just people. He doesn't think about it. He's just friends with everybody, and he doesn't give a shit if someone is gay or lesbian or trans, and he's chill. We have talked about these things a lot.
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Kai?
No, just hope you are doing okay, and
I
I'd love,
appreciate it.
love to see you smile.
Thank you. You have a
Take
good day.
care.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Okay. There's a bad echo on Twitch. Long delay then repeats sound. Interesting. I don't know why that's happening. Let me figure this out. 1 second, guys. Technical difficulties on Twitch. All right, we're connected to the right sound. We're on debate mode. Oh, let's see a problem. Okay. Things should be good on Twitch now, guys. I do simultaneously stream my lives to Twitch. And if you subscribe to my Twitch, you can watch my live replays as soon as they're available, which is very, very shortly after the lives. All right, Twitch, let me know if it's working now.
Hello. Oh, I have a call. I'm 24, and I wanted to ask something about the gay community.
Hang on. You said you're 24?
So
Hang on 1 second. I need to know what year
I
you were
wanted
born.
to ask.
Hang on. Just,
Wait,
I need to know what year you were born.
can you please stop singing your little wet willy to my brother?
All right. You have a good one. Okay. Hello, Callis. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing fantastic.
That's good. So I'm
How old are you? Sorry?
I'm
18?
18 years old.
In what month? What year were you born?
05.
Fantastic. All right. So taught in school or taught at home?
I personally think that that is a conversation for parents to have with their kids, since it is about sexuality and, you know, what you're attracted to and stuff like that. And I feel like that's it's kind of like regular, like heterosexual conversation about sex, except LGBTQ version. And I feel like that's something that should be at home.
So what do you think that I'm advocating should be taught?
I'm sorry?
What do you think that I'm saying should be taught in schools? It sounds like you're talking about intimacy, like you're talking about the actual act.
I'm not talking about like the actual act, but I just feel like I mean, when you're part of the LGBTQ community, it's, you know, you're talking about who you're attracted to and like what you want to be and everything. And I just feel like it's a very personal, like, thing that I feel like it should just be taught at home. And if it was taught at schools, I feel like it shouldn't be taught to younger children. I feel like they shouldn't focus on that. Maybe like high school or
Okay.
junior high.
That means learning that some families have a mom and a mom. Some kids have a mom that is now their dad, etc. That kind of stuff should be taught in high school.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? My connection's...
Family dynamics. It's something that we learn in kindergarten or first grade, typically, where we talk about how some families have a mom and a mom, some families have a mom and a dad, some families just have a mom, etc. That kind of stuff. That is part of LGBTQ education, because we're talking about some families that are queer. Are you saying that that should be taught in high school? Thank you for the like, Pop.
Well, I feel like because of social media that honestly a lot of kids nowadays kind of already know about all of that, you know. So I
grew up in the internet era. I did not know anything about being transgender. And the reality is I had to learn about being transgender through the internet. Do you think that's a healthy way to learn about being transgender? just randomly through the internet?
No,
Thank you for the ice cream.
but
Right.
I mean, I also feel like it's a thing that you kind of figure out on your own. I mean, like,
Sexuality and gender identity. You figured it out on your own.
well, yes, I mean, you don't.
Okay. All right. So, would you say that cisgender heterosexual people are taught about being cisgender and heterosexual? Thank you so much for the ice cream.
So sorry. Can you say that again?
Right. And would you say heterosexuality? They are seeing a heterosexual relationship. If they see that they observe their cisgender mom, their cisgender dad, they are observing gender. We learn about gender from the moment we're born. We learn about sexuality from the moment we're born. We see relationships all around us. We see gender expression all around us. We see gender identity all around us. So cisgender heterosexual sexuality, that is typical. You are more likely to be cisgender and heterosexual than not. So society is built around cisgender heterosexual people. As a result, queer people have to look really, really, really hard to see representation of ourselves.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm making there is that LGBT, even in an ideal society where there's perfect acceptance of LGBT people, the reality is that the majority of the people around us, vast majority, are cisgender heterosexual. So we are behind the curve when it comes to learning about those core aspects of who we are. So I think that we need to teach those things in school to help queer kids catch up and to help cisgender heterosexual kids understand that there's nothing wrong with us.
Well, I mean, that's why I don't know. I still don't believe that it should be taught in schools. I feel like it's something that a parent.
What is the harm in it being taught in school?
There's no harm.
Okay, then why not do it?
It's just, at least in younger grades, I don't think kids really need to be worrying about that. I mean, like, they can learn that when they're a little bit older and they actually like understand it instead of just getting this stuff
Don't you think that if they learn about it, they're more likely to understand it? And if they don't learn about it, they're less likely to understand it?
Well, yes, but if you're teaching them at such a young age, I mean, it's not like, I mean, I don't remember anything I was taught from a very young age other than like, you know, my ABCs and like the basic stuff.
To be
But
clear, I'm advocating for age-appropriate education. Thank you for the
exactly. No, I understand that, but still, I mean, I just don't think that
10-month subscriber. Thank you so much. Jesus, thank you.
taught to kids and that should be something that they have to worry about. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like all that should be learned at least in middle school, where they
Would you
have
say
a
that
better
okay, so
understanding.
queer education should start in middle school? Would you say the same for cisgender heterosexual education?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would mean that we would have to completely redo our entire society. We would have to hide gender identity from young people. We would have to hide sexuality from young people. That would mean we could not show affection. A heterosexual couple could not show affection, could not express gender around kids, because that is teaching them about heterosexuality and cisgender.
No, they can see that, but I mean, when kids see
But that's
their
teaching.
parents,
That's how you learn. You learn through observation and stuff like that.
exactly. But kids at a young age, I mean, it's not like they really know what that is. I mean, they just see that their parents are loving each other.
Sure, but they're still observing cisgender heteronormativity. They're still
I'm just
learning
saying
about
they
that
can-
aspect of sexuality and gender identity.
I'm not saying that you can't like show affection like that and kiss your partner or whatever. I'm just saying like talking about it like that and making them like just throwing all that information onto such a young kid. Like I just don't feel like they need that.
What is a child more likely to observe? A cisgender couple, a heterosexual couple, or a homosexual couple?
You said observe?
Yeah. Mine too, Shirley Temple. I feel weird saying your name every time, Shirley Temple, but mine too. My answer is both, home and school. Kels, you have a bad connection. You seem to have lost you.
Oh, I do.
All right, there you are. You're good now.
All right. Could you ask that question one more time? I'm so sorry. I don't know why my internet's being weird.
So, no problem. The question is, what do you think a child is more likely to observe? A heterosexual couple or a homosexual couple?
Both. I mean, like, if
What's more common, a heterosexual couple or a homosexual couple?
a heterosexual couple is more common, but I mean,
by far.
I feel like kids will just observe anything. I mean, I don't.
Sure, they're going to observe what's in front of them, obviously. But
Exactly.
my point is that a child is far more likely to be exposed to heterosexuality than they are to homosexuality. And it is important not just for queer kids to be exposed to learn about LGBT matters. It's also important for cisgender heterosexual kids to learn about LGBT matters. Everyone needs to learn about it.
I understand that, but I don't think school is a place to learn sexuality like that.
So then where should they learn?
I'm sorry,
Then where should they learn?
at home or from
Okay.
like,
Let's talk about that. Would you say that there are some parents that are homophobic?
yes,
Are those parents likely to teach positive things about the queer community?
I'm sorry.
Are those parents likely to teach positive things about the LGBT community?
I mean, some do. There are
Homophobic parents teach positive things about the LGBT community.
maybe not. Oh, well, not positive. I didn't hear the positive part, but they still do. Yes.
They teach negative things about the LGBT community. They teach you that it's
Yeah.
wrong to be queer. They teach you that it's wrong to be trans. And that's harmful. Kels, you got some kind of snoring
Yeah,
sound. next to
but
you.
you're always gonna get that. I mean, you can't.
But we can reduce that.
That.
Look, we can reduce that through education. I can't, what does that sound next to you? Is it purring? Is it snoring?
Oh, I have a bulldog. And
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad.
No problem. You're good. You're good. I'm just curious. So my concern is that these kids that grow up with homophobic parents, whether they're heterosexual, whether they're homosexual, they still also need to learn about the queer community, especially queer kids who are born to homophobic parents. They need to be taught something other than what their parents are going to teach them. Otherwise, they're going to have negative views of themselves, negative views of queer people, and that's going to hurt them and others.
I don't know. I just don't feel like it should be taught at such a young age. Like, because even
So what is your concern? What is your age-related concern?
because for me personally, when I learned about sexuality and all of this, because I was taught about all of it, and I was like, oh God, like 13. like in middle school, because like any sexuality related, I just don't think should be thrown onto a kid.
Sexuality isn't thrown onto people. I mean, there is something called
Not thrown onto.
heterosexuality, where queer people are expected to be heterosexual. And compulsive heterosexuality is harmful. There really isn't such thing as compulsive homosexuality.
Well, I feel like nowadays too, it's being like part of the LGBTQ is becoming so much more accepting that it, I don't know, I don't want to say
Like, wouldn't that be a positive thing?
yeah, no, I'm not saying that's a negative thing.
Yeah. So I think more acceptance will happen, even more than we have now, if people are educated on it at a young age.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I think, can I ask how young you guys are thinking?
Age appropriate, which K through 12 is. I mean, ideally, we would be taught at the same rate as cisgender kids, meaning from our parents, and then in school we would also learn. But we can't expect that. What we can do is get K through 12 education.
Yeah, and I think at any age, representation is also good. Like, I don't see a problem with kids knowing that some people have two moms and two dads.
There's not a problem with that, but I feel like their parents can teach them that, and like I don't, do you need to teach them all that? Because like I personally think from at least K to like whatever middle school is, or whatever, I don't know, whatever middle school is, I feel like in kindergarten or whatever, they just should focus on learning their ABCs or like basic stuff and not have to worry about learning about LGBTQ stuff, or any sexuality, including heterosexual.
Do you think at that age they should learn about family structures?
I do think that they should learn about family structures, and they do.
Right, and they have family trees.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at that time it'd be appropriate to say that some people have different types of families, and that's okay. Not every family looks the same. And so you can tell children, yeah, you may have a mom and a dad. Maybe every kid in this classroom has mom and a dad, but there are some kids out there who have two moms and two dads, and that's okay. Some people live with their grandparents. Some people live with like a multi-generational home, so they have more than just their parents. They have their parents and their grandparents living in the home. So we can say all these things to children and they'll understand, and we'll teach them that basic thing about family structures, that families look different.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, they already do learn like similar things to that anyway.
Like, actually, there's some countries that don't, especially in the South. They don't say that their families look different, and that's okay. They don't do any queer representation showing that people have two moms and two dads. And there's kids that don't even feel comfortable saying to their classmates that they have two moms or two dads because they experience bullying and discrimination when they do. So it would be good to know that we have like a sort of structure within our school system that teaches that there's different types of families.
Kids are really mean though, and you are still, even if you do teach kids that, you are still going to get bullying and all that other stuff that you did before. I mean, it's not teaching that, I feel, isn't really going to stop bullying.
Well, it wouldn't completely stop it, but it would minimize it. right? Like we teach kids to be kind to each other.
Right.
And so kids are learning like being kind to your classmates is beneficial, even though there are still kids that are not kind. But we still teach kids that so they understand the benefits of that. I think more education is better than less education.
Right. I don't know.
Can you give me an example of how it would be
I still
harmful
stick with my
for a child to learn about family dynamics that include a father and a father, a mother and a mother?
I don't think that's harmful.
Right. So that's part of what we're talking about, age-appropriate education. So in first grade, when you learn about family dynamics, you learn about queer families as well. That's what we're talking about. And then as they get older, we teach more and more based on what's appropriate. I don't see where the hang-up is here at this point. I feel like we've gone over it all. I feel like I do feel like you're getting it in part, but there's some resistance, and I don't understand where the resistance is coming from. Hey there, Ray. How you doing?
I'm a very open mind person, so I'm kind of like thinking about it.
Okay,
But
fantastic. I mean, I don't expect people to just change immediately.
yeah.
I don't think that would be fair or realistic. So we've gone over a lot here. Are you good to continue, or would you rather drop in process?
I'll drop the process.
Drop in process? All right. Okay, cool. Thank you for coming up, Kels.
Yep, it was nice talking to you guys.
Bye.
Nice talking to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Adora. How are you?
Hey, Michaela. How's it going?
Going good.
Doing all right. I think I'm going to start doing what's Ian? What's allegedly Ian? Is that their name? Allegedly Ian? I think it is. I'm going to start doing what allegedly Ian does and just being sub only 100% of the time.
That's fair. But TikTok sometimes doesn't like that, and you don't get any guests when you do it. But that's for me my experience. You have a lot of followers. You have more followers.
Well, I think TikTok loves it because TikTok gets money. I think it's viewers that don't like it.
Yeah.
But if you want to chat, the subscription price to chat is $3. There are two tiers. There's a $2.99 tier that gets you access to all the TikTok benefits, including emotes. And then there's the $5.99 tier, which gets you all the TikTok benefits plus access to the Discord. If you guys could tap that screen, that would be hugely appreciated. Kaylee, I see you in requests. I think right now I'm just going to do Michaela and I.
Hello, what's up? Can you hear me?
Hello, Ali. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I just saw your live and I was wondering, at what age are you planning to teach sexuality? Huh?
I need your age first. Sorry.
Oh, I'm 19.
19. And what year were you born?
2004. I was born in June.
Fantastic. Okay. At what age? What?
At what age you're basically planning? If you had the power, at what age would you teach that?
Age appropriate.
Sexuality at all.
It'll be interwoven into current curriculums. There wouldn't be. Thank you so much for the sub. Thank you so much. There wouldn't be a specific LGBT class. There would just be when you learn about family dynamics, you also learn about queer families. When you learn about World War II, you also learn about how World War II affected the queer population. For instance, pink triangles and Alan Turing, etc.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, that was simply my question. I don't know, because I didn't think that children at kindergarten, for example, should be exposed to sexuality at all. I don't care if it's heterosexuality or homosexuality. Huh?
We're exposed to sexuality the moment we're born.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think children
through 12. What I mean is something that is appropriate for that age. It would be inappropriate to teach a first grader some things. So we're not going to. We're going to teach them about family dynamics.
Yeah, Ali, do you see any issue with them watching Disney?
not at all.
But there's sexuality in there. They're princess
Like
and
the-
the prince.
Yeah, sure, but they're kissing.
They
That's
do
not that deep.
they do kiss. They kiss in all of the Disney princesses movies.
Yeah, but like they're not being taught how to, how children are being produced, basically. I think.
Yeah, we're not.
That's what I was referring to.
Right, Ali, but we're not advocating for kids to know that, right? We just tell children in kindergarten, for example, some people have two moms, some people have two dads, and that's okay. Some people have a mom and a dad, and that's okay. We just say that people have different family dynamics.
All right. Yeah, no, that was actually what I was referring to.
Yeah, that it's good. When we're saying like we teach kids, for example, if I said we're going to teach kids math, you're not expecting me to say like in kindergarten we're teaching them calculus. Like that's not what we're doing. In kindergarten we're teaching them numbers at first, and then they go up to algebra and whatever else in math. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We are just teaching them the basics of humanity and family dynamics.
All right. Cool. I don't know.
Are you okay with that? Are you okay with kids being taught that some kids have two moms and two dads?
Yeah, I couldn't care less because it is something that happens. So.
Yeah, that's all we're advocating for.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool. Have a nice evening.
Right. Bye.
Bye.
This topic does seem to be getting through to people. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're not fighting. The conversations we're having have not been fights so far, which is nice. They've been calm conversations. So I think this topic is a success so far. I made two of them. I made this version, and I made this version. Which one do you guys think is better?
Oh, definitely the other one, the first one. It's easier.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's easier to read and starts a better conversation. Okay. Guys, keep tapping the screen and share the live, please. If you want to participate in chat, please consider subscribing. There are two different tiers. The $2.99 tier will get you access to chat. I'm experimenting with going sub only for an entire live to see how practical that is, because it is a lot better for my sanity, and I'm sure it's better for your all sanity too. Hello, Amaya.
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 We've spoken before, but you kicked me.
Okay, I don't remember our conversation. I do remember you, but I don't remember our conversation. So what are your thoughts on the topic?
It's fine. But before we start, I just want to say now that I'm not trying to hate. I'm just stating my own opinion. And, yeah, I just want to state my opinion. But, okay, you can ask the question.
Yeah, sure. Should LGBT matters be taught in school or at home?
I don't necessarily think they should be taught in school because they don't teach us everything we even need to learn in school as is in the first place. But what I do think that should be taught in school is that, how to love everybody the way they are and just, accept them for who they are, because we disagree on different religions and different sexualities. It's everything. Everybody has a different perspective on and their own, beliefs and whatnot. But I just feel like just learning how to love and respect one another should be mandatory. But I don't think specifically. Well, yeah, I do agree with the family dynamics thing because I've been listening. The family dynamics thing, like there is, dad and dads and moms and stuff. But, I don't know.
So, like, how can we teach kids to accept everyone if they don't know that there are different types of people. Like I did see that you agree that we should teach about different family dynamics, but that would be taught. I think we should teach that in school, not at home, because not everybody's going to do that at home.
That's what I said.
Yeah, so you do agree with us that it should be taught in school?
Yeah, family dynamics, yes.
Only family dynamics. Should we teach queer history in school?
I don't believe that's not important.
Why? Why is that not important?
Yeah, why is our history not important?
Well, they don't even teach us everything that we need to know as is. So I feel like, we should.
That's okay. That's a different matter. We can talk about that in a second. I want to know specifically why queer history is not important.
Because it's not.
Because it's not an adequate answer.
Yeah, we have to have actual reason.
Okay, my reasoning is,
Who's the person in the background?
that's my best friend.
How old are they?
She's 20.
Okay, fantastic.
Do you want to say something?
No, I just needed to know.
No, my best friend, she wanted to say something.
My name is Tamia. I don't think it's necessarily not important, but kids need to learn about stuff that's going to help them grow in life before
LGBT
sexuality.
That.
They need to learn how to pay bills. They need to learn how to be financially stable. The sexuality can come after that. Like, they can learn about that when they get older into high school, but like
After financial stability, can't learn about LGBT matters before learning about financial stability.
I don't think they need to learn that first. Like, that can come later. They need to learn about the actual stuff that will help them grow as a person, as a human being in this world.
Yeah, learning about queer education, learning about yourself is a good way to do exactly that.
Wait, are you saying that they shouldn't learn?
So learning about yourself, that doesn't mean that they have to learn about queerness to learn about themselves. But if they're feeling like they're on the queer side, then yes, they should take that information and look into it.
Well, they can also be friends with people that are queer and they want to understand their friends. But regardless of that, do you not think they should learn history until high school in general?
I think it's appropriate. I think it's appropriate that they could learn it in high school. I don't think elementary and middle school is appropriate for them to learn about different, sexual relationships and stuff like that.
No, I'm saying like history. Do you think they should learn history in middle school?
History, yes.
So why can't we include in history class queer history?
That's sexual.
Because it's sexual.
It's sexuality.
No.
Sexuality.
No, it's still history. So why can't we say about historical events? Like, if they're taking a government class in middle school, I took a government class. Why can't they talk about when we got gay marriage in the United States in all 50 states and it became legal? What would be the wrong with that?
That's not irrelevant to school.
That is relevant to government class because the government made it legal for gay couples to get married.
And that's great. But the kids don't need to learn about that right now.
Why can't they learn about that in history class or in a government class? I'm confused because you think they should learn history, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So why should they learn history?
What?
The
same reason why they teach history.
I'm saying, why do we learn history? Do you know?
To learn about, how we got here. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, we learn history to know why people are in the state that they are now, like why communities are the way they are now,
right,
and how we got here, right? And to this point in history. So why can't we include queer people when we're teaching that? I'm confused.
Because it's a sexuality, and I feel like if they really want to learn about that, they could do their own research or talk to their parents about that at home. I don't think it should be a mandatory thing in school because it's really not necessary.
Would you say that all parents are accepting of the queer community?
You said what?
Would you say that all parents are accepting of the queer community?
No.
Right. So would you also say that some queer kids are born to homophobic parents?
Yes, and most, because children are sponges. I have a child myself. Children are sponges and they soak in whatever they're exposed to. So 90% of the time, if you have homophobic parents, your child is going to come out homophobic.
Right. We don't want that.
Right. And even if they're not, Amaya, like even if they're not homophobic and they do accept like the queer community, that doesn't mean that they're correctly educated on the queer community.
Right.
Doesn't mean they actually know this, like the correct information. So that's why we have to have teachers to teach kids the correct information.
Yes.
Like imagine if we were like, you know what, we're not going to teach math in school. We're just going to leave it up to parents. Imagine how many kids wouldn't know math or know math correctly.
Well, that's a mandatory thing that you need to learn, but
do you understand there would be a lot of people that would not know how to do math or know how like to do it correctly?
yes, I understand where you're coming from, but also at the same time, I feel like middle school and under, that should not be a concern. You know, that should not be a concern. Once you get to high school and you like, because you
Where are
know how like
holding that from? Like that seems to just be pulled out of thin air. Why is high school suddenly an appropriate time to learn about being queer?
because once you get to high school, you can make your own decisions.
Can you tell me what's your sexuality, if you don't mind me asking? You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
What's my sexuality?
Yeah, you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I'm straight.
You're straight. Okay. When did you choose to be straight?
I just always been straight.
Exactly. You've just always been straight. Thank you for the resub, Peyton. It's the same thing for queer people. We don't choose this.
Yeah,
we just
but my
are.
mom,
We don't choose this.
she's not straight. I mean, you know, I grew up around my sister. She's, you know, lesbian. I mean, my aunt. I have a lot of LGBTQ family, like, you know,
But you don't think that their history is important.
what I'm saying is, what the point that I'm trying to get out is, once you get to high school and you're able to make your own decisions, just like you're able to pick what classes you want to take.
What decision?
There is no decisions being made, Maya, when it comes to somebody being in the LGBTQ plus community.
We're not talking about that.
I'm saying once you get to high school, you can do what you want. Like, you have your own free will. You can.
What decisions are you talking about?
Learning about LGBTQ history. Duh.
So okay, this is the thing. Do y'all know that we learn about SMEX Ed in middle school, correct?
Yes.
Are you against that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly,
But I feel like children should know how babies are reproduced. And babies are reproduced by man and woman.
Not always.
Not always.
But regardless, Amaya, like what you have to understand is you think that they can learn about sexuality and how to be safe with it. Why can't we include in that class about queer kids and how to be safe?
that's gonna be the only class y'all talking about.
Okay, so they teach us about protection and all this and that. That applies to all sexualities.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. A lot of young queer people believe, oh, since we can't get pregnant through our SMECs, then we don't have to use protection. And that's incorrect.
Well,
because you can
that's
still
not-
get STDs
Yeah,
through
that's
not
what I'm
using
saying.
protection.
They teach you that in school, that you can get STDs, and that's why they tell you to use protection. On top
They
of the
don't.
reason
They don't teach
why
that in all
you don't
schools.
need. Well, most schools, I was taught that. I
understand that, Amaya, but they didn't even. Would you be against them saying in that classroom this applies to queer people as well?
No, I'm not against that. That applies to everybody.
Okay, so we can say that in SMEX Ed. We can say family dynamics, but we can't talk about the history of queer people. Why?
No, I don't think it's no.
I don't know why you're against the history part, but you're not against anything else. I'm just wondering the distinction you're making.
When would you say is an appropriate time to start learning about World War II?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think history itself is like, there's other important things that we should learn about instead of history.
Okay,
Like,
so what age would it be appropriate to learn about World War II?
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think it's really,
Right. So kids are typically learning about World War II around the age of 9 or 10, typically.
okay.
Okay, so one of the groups that was persecuted, that was rounded up and put in camps by the Germans, was gay people. They wore a pink triangle on their outfits. So I think that's the thing that we can probably start learning about around the age of 9 or 10 when we're talking about World War II.
I guess. I mean, I still have my opinion, and it's not going to change. But
There's the red flag right there. Amaya.
It's a Maya thing.
Maya.
Okay. Okay, so tell me about a time where you had a deeply held belief and someone presented you with new information, and you changed your mind about that deeply held belief.
I don't recall that. I mean, I can't think at the top of my head, but I can give you an example. Like, I'm a Christian, right? And I have Muslim friends and
Okay.
friends that, believe different things.
Okay.
I'm very curious to know, and I'm very open-minded about their religions and stuff, but that
What
would
you just told me is that you are willfully closing your mind, that you are unwilling to learn and consider a different angle.
I didn't say that. I said I'm open-minded and I'm willing.
No, what you said before that was that I can't change your mind. That there's no way to change your
I'm
mind.
not going to change my mind about what I believe.
Why?
Okay, let me give you another hypothetical. What would you need to see to change your mind on this? So, like, what would make you go, aha, I understand now?
Nothing, because like
Nothing.
I said.
Okay, you have a good day.
Wait, no, can I finish, please?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Like, that's so ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, she just was against the history part, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
I can give an example of how someone could convince me that LGBT matters should not be taught at school. If you could show me that it is harmful to queer people and to cisgender heterosexual people, or that there is benefit in waiting to a certain time, I would be willing to say, hey, maybe you're right, but you need to be able to make that argument for that to happen. Okay. Keep tapping that screen, guys. Share the live. I don't know how many shares we're at because I got Michaela up here. But yeah, let's get another 100 shares, guys. Another 100 shares. All you got to do is copy a link. That counts as a share.
Yeah, you have 224.
Badass. That's a good number.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing?
Good. I've actually been on one of Michaela's lives, so it's good to see you. I just wanted to comment that I think that it's important to do both of these things. But I know when Amaya was on here, we were talking about Schmick's education.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm 29.
Okay, fantastic. All right, go for it.
It's really important. I actually did not learn even about female protection, which is also used in heterosexual relationships, but we did not learn about like female condoms or any of that. I actually did not learn about that until my first Pride in St. Louis, when they were handing those out along with dental dams. We focused so much on safe schmecks for heterosexual couples that we are leaving out an entire group of people. And although we may not be able to reproduce, there are still ways that we need to protect ourselves. And like, it's really important for all kids to know those things. And as far as history goes, like, our history is American history. These are court proceedings that have happened. These are constitutional changes that have happened. Those things are so important to teach every single person. You're not teaching them what relationships they need to be in. It's just American history. But I am sure that you have your box open for opposing views, so I won't stay here long. But I just want to say, like, these things are important because people like me do go on to have children. We do go on to do all of these things. So it's important that we also know about different family dynamics, how to keep our family safe, how, like, what our lives are going to look like. Every child deserves an equal education, even if it goes against your religious beliefs. We keep religion out of schools, or should, for a reason, and that's for fair access for every kid. But I'm going to hop off so you can have an opposing view up here. But I love you both so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Bye. You know, there's a crazy thing that happened in my high school, Adora. So, like the church group there, they would bring in like fresh food, like in the morning, and like have it for the kids to smell while we had our regular breakfast that was disgusting. So people would go into the room just so they could eat like something suitable. So, and then during that, they would teach us the Bible. But I'm just like imagining if queer people did that, like if we went into schools trying to entice kids to listen to us with food, like they would be so upset. They would be like, oh, you're trying to indoctrinate everybody. They don't hold that same standard when it comes to like religion.
Yep. Yep. Okay. All right, guys, everyone tap that screen. We have 5 minutes left of this subwave up here. If we complete the subwave with 2 more subscriptions, then all subscribers that don't have all the emotes will get a new emote. Also, if you subscribe to my channel, you get access to the Best Friend Squad Discord. That's from the $5.99 tier. I guess some people can see the 2 different tiers. There's a $2.99. Okay, guest did not connect. Rachel, thank you so much. Holy shit. Thank you for the 5 subs. Jesus. My God. Thank you. Well, that completes our subwave, and that completes 1.5 dash rounds as well. Hello, Pebbles. How you doing?
Hi, Adora. Hi, Michaela. How are you both?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
I'm 41.
41. Fantastic. And what's your take on the topic?
So, question for you both. Totally understand teaching LGBTQ plus and incorporating it into existing curriculum, history, social sciences, art, math, etc. Wanted your take on. There are a lot of children that have bigoted parents at home, right, or family or friends. And is that something that is already incorporated or thought to be added on as like some sort of curriculum around fighting that bias in addition to just incorporating it into existing curriculum, if that makes sense?
Sure, obviously, we definitely want to fight the bias, and education is a great way to do that.
Right, and I think we should also educate kids on like experiencing abuse and how to properly report that, especially to queer kids as well, saying that this sort of language being told to you is very emotionally abusive and sometimes it's physically abusive, and that these are the resources if you need them.
Okay, that's great. I didn't know if it was something that was a little bit. I know like teaching DEI in general right now is a big talking point on the right, especially, and not teaching it at all. So I didn't know if that was something that we were like, let's not even fight that battle until we have it incorporated into existing curriculum. But wanted to get your thoughts on it, and that's really all I had. Thank you both for your advocacy.
Appreciate you. You have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to leave that.
I gotcha. No problem. Almost nobody knows how to leave, guys. So it's perfectly normal to not know how to drop. All right. Guys, we completed 2 dash rounds of the subwave already. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I think there's still 2 more rounds of the dash round. If you guys want to complete those, every round of the dash that we complete unlocks a new emote for all active subscribers that are currently watching. Hello, Hot Mess Nikki. How you doing? Been a little while since I've seen you. All right, this guest is not connecting. Thank you for the rose.
You need to do a master class on subs because I do not understand the subscriptions the way that you do, Adora, on TikTok.
It's a messy system. Like they do rollouts, so some people can subscribe to different tiers. Some people can't. Some people can send sub gifts. Some people can't. Some people the Discord button works. Some people it doesn't.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, TikTok is just a giant glitch fest. How are you doing?
Hello?
How old are you, please?
18.
18. Fantastic. What year were you born?
They don't have that answer.
Yeah, you can go ahead and kick me.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
You too. Bye. It was nice.
Yeah, that was funny, though.
Nice. All right, we are out of requests, guys. So if you want to talk, if you have an opinion, Ember Snow, thank you so much for the gift sub. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. White Cheddar, you just got gifted a sub. All right, did we complete another round? We did. We completed another round of the dash. Can I switch type of subscription? I have no idea, Kyle. I genuinely don't know. And if it's doable, I'm sure TikTok has that glitchy as fuck too. You got a new emote? Badass, Romeo. All right, our guest did not connect. Ooh, look at that. That's a new one. I didn't upload that. That wasn't me. Is TikTok getting ready for Pride Month?
That's cool. I like it. It's cute.
Awesome. I wonder
Is
if
it a
there are any
lion
more
throwing up a
emotes
rainbow?
hiding in there. That's highly unexpected.
Yeah, I think it's a lion throwing a rainbow.
How you doing today?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. And yourself?
Doing fantastic. How old are you, please?
I'm 21 and my pronouns are she, her.
21, she, her. Fantastic. And what's your take on the topic?
So I think that LGBTQIA plus, education, it should be in school at home. It should be taught at school and at home. I think that children shouldn't just have like one safe space because children spend majority of their time at school. They should be able to have a safe space at home and at school. What happens if a child doesn't have a safe space at home and they're spending 90% of their time at school? They should be able to speak to a guidance counselor or their maths teacher about certain things that they're facing, whether that be, oh, I'm feeling this certain way. I can't really speak to my parents about it because they're super domineering with religion. Could you please help me navigate how I'm feeling and like give me the right resources to figure it out by myself? I don't think it just should be one environment. And because school is a place of learning, I don't think that anyone should really advocate for, to like close off learning opportunities.
Agreed. Yep. We're on the same page. I agree with you 100%.
Oh. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna hop out then so that you can, fight the bad guys.
You have a good one.
Thank you, you too, bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm enjoying this topic. And we got a decent amount of requests. It's not a huge amount of requests, but I know that there's a lot of people out there that would love to share their opinions on this topic. If you think that we should be teaching LGBT matters only at home, come on up, let's talk. Let me hear why. Why do you think that?
Some people don't even want it at home.
I know. Yeah, I saw a lot of those comments before I went sub only. Going sub only for the full live, this is a risk. I don't know how practical this is going to be. We'll find out. Hello, Radiant. How you doing? This person is not letting me take this this garland off. Thank you so much for the garland.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
29.
29. All right. And where should LGBT matters be taught? At school or at home?
I think they should be taught both.
I agree. Yep.
It's just it's hard because a lot of parents don't agree with it. And they wouldn't teach them at home. So I feel like it should be taught both. But I do want your opinion on one thing,
Okay.
if that's okay. Um, what is your opinion on like doing like a separate class that
You've cut out. I can't hear you. You had a bad connection. I couldn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, what would you think about doing like a separate class for the LGBTQ kids?
Like just for LGBT kids, not including cisgender heterosexual kids?
Like having two classes for like the LGBT kids and the not LGBT kids.
Why? What would be the benefit of that?
Well, maybe some of them aren't out. I don't know. I'm not against it. I just don't know.
I mean,
I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry.
that would out them, right? Because they're all going down the same hallway, so they'd see that the LGBTQ kids are going into that classroom while the straight heterosexual cisgender kids are going to go to the other classroom. So they would be outed. And that's why I would say we shouldn't do that, because that would out children. And also, all of the children need this education. It's not just queer kids.
Okay. Okay. I'm honestly not against it. It's just I have a learning disability, so my words don't always mesh. So I didn't mean anything by it. I was just wondering what your take was. I
Oh no,
swear.
that's completely fine. I'm just saying, like, if we did it that way, it would harm the children because it would out them. And I think all the kids need that education. So it's completely fine. That's my take on it.
Okay. I was just curious. I've been thinking a lot about it. I don't know why, but I'm always in Adora's live, and it's always like a thought in the back of my mind. But I'm like my daughter is gonna be 7, and she knows about it. So I've been teaching her like age appropriate stuff, obviously, because she's only 7. But yeah, that's all I really had to say.
All right. Thank you for coming up. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Yes, Jenny B, you were gifted a sub. 6 subs have been gifted this round, so thank you, everyone. I appreciate that support. All right, Ray, how you doing? Thank you for the heart, me, Ray. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. TikTok and social media are way more important. I guess I don't know what them. I think that was an old comment from an old guest. I don't know what that was about. I don't know how parents do it. Do what? Ooh, I'm tired already. Though when am I not tired? All right, guys, keep tapping that screen. We do not have guests in the request box, so that means we gotta tap until we do. Tap like crazy. Everyone double tap that screen until we have someone up here. Don't make me out. I would love to see if we can keep chat a safe space by keeping sub-only chat on. It's better for everyone's mental health, but I may have to not do that if it hurts the amount of guests that I get. Don't request on accident while tapping, y'all. All right, we have a guest request. Hello, Kyle. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Doing fantastic. How old are you, please?
35.
35. All right. And should LGBT matters be taught at school or at home?
So I've been watching. I watch you periodically you'll come through my page, and I'll just sit down and watch you guys on the live. I would say that I'm not necessarily against it. I would say that it would be something that maybe not necessarily be taught, but maybe something that be acknowledged and help to be understood more so than just be like a lesson. And obviously age appropriate would be the the way to go on that.
Sure. Like I'm not advocating for a queer lesson where that entire lesson is built around LGBT matters. I'm talking about working it into the curriculum. So like when we're talking about World War II, we also mentioned the pink triangle and Alan Turing as well. This is on top of everything else.
Yeah, no, I think that's not necessarily a bad philosophy, because I mean, when I was younger, I'm not gonna lie, I was homophobic. I had a traumatic experience when I was a kid in a bathroom where some grown man would stare at me, and it made me frightened. And honestly, it made me lose any like respect or like understanding on it up until one of my best friends, his brother was actually gay, and it helped me, get out of that mindset. But I do believe that society has changed a lot in the past 20 years, and people are no longer at all the same that they were or taught or relative. Society. I'm sorry, what?
Are you in a moving vehicle?
I am. Do I have bad service?
No, you just can't be in a moving vehicle and go live on TikTok. It gets your account banned. Doesn't matter if you're the passenger or the driver, it gets you banned.
Oh, I will let you go then. Sorry, buddy.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, Kyle.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't hear that on my end, but someone else has better audio quality than I do, and they heard it. All right. Mystic Echo 92 wrote, I wish I could sub on TikTok. Money is an issue for me. Hey, I just appreciate your support no matter what. Like, y'all, you don't have to subscribe. You just being here, tapping the screen, engaging, it means the world to me. So thank you. And I saw that that little crown. Thank you. All right. We got a prop stack going, guys. All right, thank you. But I love you, Adora. Your lives have taught me so much. Thank you for being here, Mystic Echo. I appreciate you. Don't forget, okay, so even though we are sub-only here, thank you for the hat and mustache. Oh shit, I gotta redo my whole prop stack now. Give me a second. Thank you for the heart pop. Even though we're sub-only here, Twitch chat is open. Twitch chat is completely open and is likely to always remain that way. So if you do want to chat, head on over to my Twitch, Adorable Rainbow Fist on Twitch, where chat is completely open. There we go. Now we got a full prop stack going. Thank you, guys. You can also find my socials in my link tree in my profile.
You don't do the mustache anymore?
Oh yeah, that's right, I do. Forgot about it. There we go, guys. Thank you for the hanging lights. And Miss Kenzie. Trying out allegedly Ian's strategy of being sub only 100% of the time. See if it helps my well-being.
But I do have to drop to get ready for work. But thank you for having me up, Adora. It was nice.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we're an hour and a half in, guys. It's been an hour and a half. I'm thinking maybe of taking a 5, coming back with a new topic. What do you guys think? Let me know. Taking a 5, coming back with a new topic. You love this one? I like this one too. This is definitely one that's going to stay in the rotation. Yeah, it's been an hour and a half already, Temple. What topic? Probably I'm a lesbian. maybe talk about Pride Month. I don't have a topic for Pride Month yet. A topic for Pride Month could be an interesting one. That's your favorite topic of mine? All right. This is a good one, and this topic's not going to go anywhere. It is definitely going to continue to be used. New topic, no break. Yeah, I'm taking 5. Deal with it. I could do how many months should the queer community get or something like that. So I had to find a better way to word it. Okay, all right. I'm gonna take a little break, guys. I'm gonna come back with a new topic. See you guys shortly. How are we doing, everyone? Took a little break. We're back. We're experimenting with permanent sub only. We're going to try to see how practical it is to launch a live with sub only enabled. Can we still have conversations? Losing my mind. I hate days off work. Hey, if that means, sounds to me like that means you have a job that you enjoy. Hello, Ashley Jane. Everyone keep tapping that screen. We got 6 shares. Let's see if we can get that up to 100 shares. Copying the link counts as a share, so you don't actually have to share it to anyone. Yeah. Tap and share, guys. Tap and share. Let's see if we can get it to 10,000 likes. Oops, I forgot to change my information on All right, we got 462 people in here. Awesome. Keep tapping, guys. Tapping and sharing. Hey there, Burb. How you doing? Doing well. Hope you're doing well as well also. So I know that out of the 400 people watching that not everyone here agrees that I'm a lesbian. If you think that I'm not a lesbian, put in a request. Let's talk. Put in a request right down here or right over here, and let's have a conversation. You're moving slow today? I feel that. Me too. Hello, Fanta12345. How you doing? Thank you for the sub, Lydia Elizabeth. First time subscriber. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Hello.
How old are you, please?
Or a hello? You said how old are you? How old are you? I'm 19.
You're both 18?
Yes.
What year were you born?
2004.
2004? That's not 18.
Yes, it is.
Not. Hello, Jovan. All right. All right, for the beginning of the live, while we're waiting for requests, we're going to turn off sub only. Chat is free, guys. Chat is open and free for a little while. Hello, Sue.
Hello.
Hello, Tiffany. How you doing?
I'm good. I just wanted to say I love your videos, and I think you're a fantastic person, and I didn't want to prove you wrong necessarily, because you're a woman through and through. Girl.
Thank you. You have a good one.
You too.
Hi, Mel. Good morning, Queen Nikki. Guys, Queen Nikki is in chat. Queen Nikki also hosts these kind of conversations and does an absolutely amazing job. So give Queen Nikki a follow. Can we, I'm gonna pin Queen Nikki. Everyone follow Queen Nikki. Follow Queen Nikki. Are we going sub only? Once we have a few requests in. Once we have a few requests. Following badass. All right. Keep tapping away. We have nobody in requests, guys, so tap like crazy until we have requests. We hit our goal of 10,000. Love to see it. We blew past it, actually. Our new goal is 20,000 likes, guys. 20,000 likes.
Hi, I've got a question.
I need to know your age first.
Sorry?
I need to know how old you are first.
I'm nearly 20 now.
Okay, and what year were you born?
I was born in 2004.
Jesus, again, Rachel, thank you. Okay, so...
Does that help?
Yes, okay, fantastic. All right, what is your question?
Yes, I'm nearly 20. So, like, I'm not against it and whatever. So, say you go to, like, you're in a shop or whatever, right? And you've got the choice between the male bathroom, the female bathroom, and the disabled bathroom, right? Should you, like, is that okay for, like, people, like, to use it then or not? Like people that, like, don't identify with those two genders? So, I identify as female, right?
Okay.
And, so say you're at the shops, right? And there's 3 different bathrooms.
Okay.
And so you've got the male bathroom, the female bathroom, and the disabled bathroom. Do you think it's, like, okay if, like, people that don't identify with those two genders, like, that use the disabled bathroom because they don't identify, or like, what's your opinion?
The disabled bathroom is specifically for disabled people.
Correct. But I'm just wondering, like, what, like, you know, what's the situation, like, what would they do in that instance? Or
Yeah, I would say it's inappropriate for anyone who is not disabled to use the disabled bathroom. So I think that people should use the restroom that we are comfortable with. Doesn't matter. Like, to me, if you're comfortable in the women's restroom, use the women's restroom. Comfortable in the men's restroom, use the men's restroom.
Okay. All right, bless. Thank you.
Right.
I was just wondering. Sorry, because I don't know much.
All right, no problem. You're welcome to listen in. You have a good one. Oh, and they knew how to drop on their own. That is an intelligent guest. And I don't mean that in a mocking way, that they're able to figure things out on their own, which most people don't know how to drop.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Hi. I'm 30.
30, fantastic.
Yes.
Am I a lesbian?
No. I wanted to ask, I was going to ask, why are you, or how are you a lesbian?
I'm a woman who's attracted to other women.
But you're not a woman, though.
Why not?
Because you're a man. So, what are your, and let's just say for this conversation's sake, what would your bones identify you as, or what would your bones tell you that you are when they're tested to see, so let's just say, for example, God forbid, bones are found and they are not able to identify the person and they run those tests. What are the results going to come back as, man or woman?
Statistically speaking, they would likely come back as male, but that's not a guarantee. No, and that would be in reference to my sex, not my gender.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, so what makes you a woman? What makes you a woman?
My innate sense of self.
But have you actually gone through womanly, like womanly things? So for example, me being a woman, I've gone through puberty as a, I've gone through what I've
I have
comes
gone through female puberty.
You've gone through female, so you get periods
Actively going through female puberty
by choice or naturally?
by choice, but it's still not
Exactly. So, but
doesn't make it not natural.
see how there's but do you see how
Hang
there's
on. That doesn't make it not natural. The estrogen that I'm taking is bioidentical to what a typical cis woman has.
Okay, but you have a choice. I don't have a choice. I get them because I am a woman. You get them because you're a man and you are forcing your body to go through these changes by the stuff that you're taking.
What makes me a man?
What makes you a man?
Yes.
I mean, I guess only you can answer that question because you went through it.
You're the one claiming that I'm a man, not me.
I'm claiming that you're not a woman.
No, you made the claim several times now that I'm a man.
Well, you're not a woman. So I wouldn't know what makes a man because I have not gone. I'm not a man. I'm a woman.
Okay, if you don't know what makes a man, then why are you calling me one?
Okay, then subtract that. You're not a woman.
Then what gender am I?
What you were born as.
I developed into a girl around the age of...
Naturally or by choice?
Naturally.
No, that's a lie. You know very well you did not transform naturally into a woman.
Can you tell me when you chose to be a woman?
When I went through puberty.
That was a choice. You chose to go through puberty.
No, naturally. That's the difference between me and you.
My question was, when did you choose to be a woman?
I didn't choose it.
Right.
I am just a woman. Okay, so let me throw another example out there. Okay, so let's just say I go to the doctors, right? And because there have been a lot of claims that, and I'm not saying particularly you, but there are a lot of trans women who say that having a baby, periods, breastfeeding, etc., what does make a woman doesn't make a woman. So I'm gonna just put this out there. Let's just say I go to the doctors, right? Me being a cis woman, yo doc, I can't give birth, I can't breastfeed. Like, what's going on? You know, they're going to run tests on me and they're going to be like, you know what, so and so and so, versus a trans woman that goes to the doctor and says, why can't I breastfeed? Why can't I do any of these things?
And can breastfeed?
No, they can't. What are you talking about? Okay, let's go. Okay, okay. Why can't I give birth? Why can't I do any of these things? Why, you know, and what is it?
So first of all, it's very atypical for a trans woman to go to the doctors and say, why can't I give birth? That's just not really a thing that happens. And if it were to happen...
Why wouldn't it?
If it were to happen...
Why doesn't it?
If it were to happen, they would run tests.
Uh-huh. And what would the doctor tell me versus them telling the trans person?
There's any number of reasons that you may or may not be infertile. And what they would likely come to a conclusion for a transgender woman is that she doesn't have a uterus and that whatever symptoms she has are the result of something else.
So health complications, right? Would you say?
I don't know. The scenario you're giving me is a pretty wild one.
No, it's very simple. So a trans woman cannot bear children because they are a man, versus a woman, versus a woman going and the doctor telling me, you know what, there are some health complications. A trans woman will be told you can't because you're a man. It is what it is.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference? Can you tell me the difference between sex and gender?
Okay, sex is what you were born as, and gender is what, well, you know, what you identify as.
Not bad. It's not quite accurate. Biological sex relates to your reproductive functions, and gender is it's psychosocial. It's your innate sense of self. It's how you express yourself, etc. So you're pretty close there, but not quite.
Okay, I just don't see how you would consider yourself a woman if you haven't gone through what actual or real, what cis women actually go through, not by choice. We go through these because they naturally come to it. Having cycles, getting cramps, bearing children.
Let's talk about this.
Okay.
Do all cisgender women get periods?
No, and if they don't, it's due to health complications. Nothing having to do with
I didn't ask
no,
why.
but okay,
Why
but
is not relevant.
I'm providing a reason because I know
Yeah,
what you're
the
gonna.
reason's not relevant.
I know what you're gonna get at. You're gonna say, well, not all women do it. Not all women because of health complications versus a man who cannot because they are a man.
Can you tell me what a necessary condition is?
What a what?
What a necessary condition is?
A necessary for what? What do you mean?
Right, for something to be a necessary condition, we have to find a rule that applies to the entire group without exception.
I mean, I don't know the proper terminology, but I know that there's women who aren't able to do any of the things that I mentioned that go to the doctors to get a proper diagnosis as to why they can't do any of those things that we are in the nature of doing versus a man that goes and says, doctor, what's wrong? Why can't I bear children? Why can't I do any of these things? They're not going to get anywhere close to why a woman can't do any of those things. You know what I mean? Like,
so the point that I'm making here is that a woman who doesn't have a period, it doesn't matter why she can't have a period. It doesn't make her less of a woman. She's still just as much of a woman.
Right, but it does matter why.
Period is not the necessary condition to being a woman.
Okay, but the reason why it does play a big factor on the difference as to why you don't get it or a trans woman doesn't get any of those things versus a woman not getting those things. It does play a big part. Like, we're not going to just exclude that and say it doesn't matter why a woman doesn't get it and why a trans woman doesn't get it. Like, why are you...
It's a typical experience of a female.
I'm sorry?
It's related to your reproductive functions. So periods relates to you to the fact that you are female.
Well, it's not just periods. It's a bunch of things that we have that men don't go through. Is what I'm saying. Not just periods.
Okay, so do you remember when I asked you about the difference between sex and gender, and sex relates to your reproductive functions, and gender is psychosocial?
Okay.
So psychosocial means that it is partially psychological and it is partially social. It has nothing to do with your uterus. It has nothing to do with whether you have a penis. Nothing to do with your chromosomes. So.
Well, why?
When we're talking about whether or not I'm a woman, that's a gender claim. I'm claiming to be a specific gender, not a specific sex.
So because you feel and think that you're a woman, Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
But I mean, that's just not true. Just because you you feel that you are and you think that you are doesn't make you that.
So what is the necessary condition for being a woman?
What I went over with you just
right, and we already agreed that not all women have periods. I think we can also agree.
Oh yeah, but not because.
Hang on, I'm talking. We can also agree that not all women give birth for any number of reasons, right?
Right, but the differences have a big part. You don't get them because you're a man, and a woman who doesn't get them.
Tell me what the necessary condition for being a man is.
I don't. Okay. I don't know.
You acknowledged early on that you can't tell me what a man is, and yet you keep calling me one.
Well, I don't know the proper terminology, but you are a man. Okay. We
don't need perfect definitions here. In your own terms, what is a man?
I would say a man is opposite of a woman. In my own words.
Well, that's circular. Because then, what's a woman? The opposite of a man.
I wouldn't know what a man is because I'm not a man. Just like you wouldn't know what a woman is because you've never been a woman.
If you don't know what a man is, then why do you keep calling me one?
Because I know you're not a woman. So there's only two genders. You're either a man or a woman.
Just piling transphobia on top of transphobia.
I'm not transphobic. Just because I'm speaking facts does not make me transphobic. You're a man. You just said you think and you feel like you're a girl. That doesn't mean that you're. A woman. That doesn't mean you're a woman. It really doesn't.
Gender identity is not a binary. It's
gender dysphoria. Is that what you have? I mean,
I said gender identity is not a binary. It's a spectrum.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're not a woman. You can call yourself a woman all you want. That's
I'm not
perfectly
engaging
fine.
in any point that I'm making.
Well, I've made points myself, and you want to just totally exclude them, like for the fact that a big difference as to why I, for example, don't get periods or whatever the reason is very different than a trans woman that doesn't get any of them. You want to just totally exclude that. You want to just say that it's all having to do with the brain and this and that. You don't want to acknowledge anything else. And
what does gender mean to you?
What does gender mean to me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a woman. That's my gender.
Yeah, woman is a gender, but what does the word gender mean to you? Thank you for the sub. Appreciate you.
I just know that I'm a woman. That's it. It's very simple.
I would agree with you. Thank you for the ice cream. I would agree with you that we do not need to have a deep understanding of what gender is in order to know who we are. I agree. It is typical for a 7-year-old child to know if they're a boy or a girl, right? That's typical. But a child doesn't understand gender philosophy. A child doesn't know the ins and outs of biological sex. And I don't think that we need to have that understanding as adults either. We can know who we are without having a deep understanding. Thank you so much for the first-time subscription. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, to each their own, I guess. Agree to disagree.
I do not agree to disagree. You're simply wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm not wrong at all.
Are you able to engage, or are you going to drop?
I mean, we can engage if you want. I mean, no matter what I tell you, you're still gonna think and feel what you want to.
I can back up my arguments. I'm making sound logical points.
So am I. So am I. Just because I'm not answering your questions doesn't mean that I'm not pointing out what I'm pointing out. I've given you plenty of examples.
We're looking for a necessary condition that applies to all women.
They don't need to apply. Oh, so you're saying that all women have to have one specific one specific thing wrong with them? They all have to have the same thing?
Wrong. There is one thing that I think all women have in common, and that is our innate sense of self.
Okay, but there's many reasons why women don't go through what we are in the nature of, like periods, breastfeeding,
Which makes those not necessary conditions. For it to be a necessary condition, the entire group has to experience it.
Not what? So you're saying that every woman in this earth has to go through the same thing in order for it to be like some kind of health. Okay, then what do you mean?
You're not understanding. When I say necessary condition, I mean that I'm talking about a rule that applies to an entire group. Thank you so much, Miss B, for the.
Then I'm understanding what you're saying. Then you're saying that has to happen to all women. Is that what you're saying?
It has to be an experience shared by all of us. Yes, or something.
That is not true. What are you talking about? That is literally not true. There's women in this world that are not going through. We're not all going through the same thing. That doesn't mean that.
Sure, I agree.
Right.
So those would those would not be necessary conditions then. If we're not all going through the same thing,
that is not true. That is absolutely not true. Like what?
Would you say that it is? Do all women have to dress a certain way in order to be a woman?
No, but we're talking about the body here. We're talking about our bodies, not clothes.
Do all women have to have the same body to be a woman?
You mean like, are you referring to like a uterus and etc.? Is that what you mean?
I'm referring to the body.
Well, we all have a body, and are they all the same? Obviously not. I'm talking about the reasons, what makes a woman a woman. That's what I'm talking about. If a cis woman does not go any of the things that we are in the nature of, it is due to
I can't stand the nature
it's due to medical it is due to medical complications or health complications. There's something wrong.
It does not matter why.
It does matter. What do you mean? Because that reason is very different from why you can't do any of those things.
Tell me why the reason that someone can't have a period is relevant to whether or not they are a specific gender or not. Why does the reason matter?
Okay, what I'm pointing out, all that I'm saying is that women that cannot, let's just say, for example, periods, breastfeeding, giving birth, cramps, all that we go through naturally, if a cis woman, there's many cis women who don't go through any of those things, it's because of a health complication or medical condition.
And why is the reason important to this discussion?
Because you all are claiming that not all women have this, so therefore trans women are somewhat women for that itty bitty reason. But that's not the case, because trans women, really men, don't go through those things because they're simply men. Their bodies are not built or built to or in the nature of doing the things that us cis women
You're not making your points. You're not answering the question.
How am I not making points? It's very simple.
You're not answering the question.
I just answered your question. You might not like my answer.
Why does the reason matter?
I just told you why it.
Right,
Can you hear me?
Repeating the same thing over and over and over and over.
Well, then you just simply don't like my answer, and you want to hear something else.
Your answer is illogical.
Okay, the reason. Let me repeat myself. The reason that it is important is because there are trans women out there who say that what we cis women go through naturally does not make a woman. And the reason it is important is because that is what makes us a woman. The women that don't go through those things have to do with medical complications or health complications.
Okay,
now,
so you're I don't know how to reword this. There's something disconnecting us here. I'm trying to get you to explain the reason why, the reason that someone can't have a period or something that matters. But I don't think it does. I think that a woman, hang on, I think that a woman who can't give birth is still just as much of a woman, and the reason she can't give birth doesn't matter at all. Thank you for the roses.
I am not saying a woman is I'm not saying a cis woman that cannot do any of those things is less of a woman. I am not saying that at all. That do any of those
and yet
things.
you still can't tell me what a man is. You call me one constantly.
Oh my gosh! Look. Do you see how I just answered your question and you automatically jump and you still haven't told me what a man is? Like, what is your point on saying that? Whether I know what a man is or not, you're still not a woman. That's what I'm pointing out. You're not a woman. You might think and feel and you want people to call you. You want people to call you this and that. Then out of respect, we'll call you whatever you want us to call you.
Remind me why I'm not a woman.
I just told you. Are you kidding?
Right?
No, that's not what I said. That's just one of the things out of the many things that I said.
Sure, it's one of the many things. You also
How are you a woman? What have you experienced?
Ray, thank you for the gold mine. Thank you so much, Ray. Damn, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay. You've made the same points several times over now, and we're really not going anywhere. Thank you for the tiara. Oh, my tiara came in the mail. I had to pick it up today. I don't know where to go here, because you're continuing to make the same point over. You're saying that I'm not a woman because I can't have periods and I can't have kids, and I think that those things aren't things that make someone a woman or not. Thank you. Tweener, do you have a point that you'd like to make? A different angle, maybe? Nope. Yeah. The guest ran, guys. The guest ran. We have a track star.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
How you doing, Tweener?
Hey, Adora.
Operation Pass the Hat. I reached out to Erin Hattemer and she assigned me this family. So if you guys could click on my profile, click on the link tree in my profile, you will find the GoFundMe there. If you can reasonably do so, please consider sending money to Shadia Lekaluk and his family. They are trapped in Gaza and trying to get out. That would be greatly appreciated. If you can't send money, that's totally fine. There are other ways you can help out as well. The first several videos on my page are all related to the fundraiser and the family. So if you could watch those videos, like, share, comment, favorite, etc., all the things.
Yeah, donate now if you're a nice human being. Damn it.
If you're a nice human being and you can reasonably do so, because a lot of people are nice human beings and they can't reasonably do so. Thank you, Queen Nikki. Thank you for the paper crane, Beach Girl. Thank you so much. All right, guest not connecting. Thank you for the ice cream. The Grinch. Hello, Grinch. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
I'm 35.
35. Fantastic. Am I a lesbian?
What's that?
Am I a lesbian?
I would say no.
Okay, why not?
Because I think you're a straight male if you're claiming to be a lesbian.
I would say that I'm a woman who's attracted to other women.
So let me ask you this. So I assume that you think there's more than two genders?
Yeah, I think it's a spectrum. Thank you so much, Ray.
Okay. Can you name me like 4 or 5 of them?
Man, woman, non-binary, agender, gender fluid.
Okay, so what is non-binary?
It means that your gender identity either is in between man and woman or outside of the spectrum, or you're gender fluid and your gender fluctuates over time. But this also varies culture to culture, society to society.
So non-binary means you're not a man or you're not a woman, right?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Did you listen?
It kind of sounds like what you said.
Yeah, but did you listen? I mentioned more than that.
Yeah, so you said out of the spectrum, right? Gender fluidity, or someone who's gender fluid. What does gender fluid mean?
Yeah, your gender fluctuates over time. That's what gender fluid is. Or if you're non-binary, it can mean that your gender identity falls somewhere in between the spectrum of man and woman, or it can mean that your gender identity falls outside the binary.
So what does it fluctuate between?
Man and woman.
Okay. So what are some of the other genders?
I just gave you like 3 answers.
Okay, so we did non-binary, which is you're not saying you're a man or a woman.
Non-binary is non-binary is an umbrella term. There are many experiences that people have when they fall under that umbrella.
Okay, well then name me some more.
I just did.
Well, you said non-binary, which is you're not subscribing to the spectrum. You're not a man or a woman, right? So that's still
you fall outside of it. You're not either. You fall somewhere in between man and woman, so you're somewhere in between the spectrum, or you're gender fluid, and your gender fluctuates over time.
So gender fluid would be you can jump between male and female, right? That's still only 2 genders.
No, male and female are related to biological sex. That talks about your reproductive functions.
So name me some of the genders that are outside of the spectrum of male.
I already have.
Yes, I just did.
Didn't, because you said non-binary, which is only not.
Non-binary is an umbrella term, which means that there are many identities that fall underneath that.
Okay, so you still have failed to describe any gender that doesn't subscribe to male or female in some way.
I literally just did. Are you dumb?
No, I'm not actually. I'm trying to understand, but I still don't understand what is more than male or female. You're either claiming you're not any of those things. You're claiming you can jump between those two things.
You clearly don't like my answer.
No, it doesn't make sense.
It makes perfect sense. I fall somewhere in between the spectrum. So I'm a little bit of both, a little bit of man, a little bit of woman. I'm in between. That's one gender identity.
Still only 2 genders that you're jumping between.
Great.
I'm not
No, you've got this wrong. Gender is a spectrum. On one side we have men, on the other side we have women, and then there's everything in between, and there's even genders on that are outside that completely, like agender. Agender is no gender.
Right, but your range that you're gauging that between is still only male and female. So you're
Man
still
and woman, not male and female, man and woman.
subscribing to the spectrum that you are opposing.
Okay, you're right. There are opposite ends of the spectrum, which is man on one side, woman on the other. But there are genders in between that.
Okay, then name some of them, please.
We already have several times.
You haven't. You've only named genders
No,
that
we literally
subscribe
have.
to the male or female rule. So at the end of the day,
Why do you reject non-binary and gender fluid and and agender. I mean, to be clear, gender fluid doesn't mean that you fluctuate between man and woman. It means you fluctuate between multiple genders.
This is where it confuses everybody, though, is you can't actually describe what are the other genders that you.
I already have. Agender would be no gender. I just gave you gender fluid. Non-binary
How
means
does somebody have no gender? What does that look like? What does that look like? If someone has no gender, what does that look like?
It means that they don't identify with any gender.
Okay, so describe that to me. Can you expand on that a little bit?
I wouldn't know how to be any more clear than I just was.
So what does that person act like? Do they have feminine qualities?
They act like whatever they want to act like. You don't. You can, just because you're a gender doesn't mean that you don't have a gender expression. Gender identity and gender expression are different things. So you can be a gender and express yourself femininely, masculinely, androgynously.
That makes no sense.
Okay, so do you recognize the difference between gender expression and gender identity?
No.
Okay, so for instance, let's work on the binary here. I just want to give you a heads up, Grinch. Tweener, you got a violation. Tweener got a violation. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you so much. You may want to drop because if you get reported, you could be banned. Okay, so Grinch, let's work on the binary for the sake of this argument. Would you say that there are men who present themselves femininely?
Absolutely.
Sure. So that would be an example of gender identity and gender expression being different things. Yeah, I agree. Karma Tweener didn't.
No, I think that there are men that act differently. There's men that act more feminine. There's men that act more masculine, but they're still men at the end of the day.
Sure, a man is a man regardless of how he presents himself, which is why gender expression and gender identity are different things. A man can present themselves very, very manly. A man can present themselves very, very femininely, and a man can present themselves anywhere in between as well. Doesn't make them less of a man. So gender expression and gender identity are different. Hi, Mel.
Hi. So my youngest child is gender, right?
Identity.
My youngest child is agender, and this is going to look different for different people. But they were assigned to female at birth. They express themselves femininely, but they are uncomfortable with feminine or masculine. Ooh, that's so pretty.
Damn, Ray's coming in clutch today. Thank you, Ray.
Pronouns or words such as ladies, gentlemen, she, her pronouns, right? They prefer neutral pronouns, not gender non-specific pronouns, because that aligns with their identity, even though they express themselves femininely.
So how would somebody address them when speaking to them?
They use they, them pronouns.
But you use they, them pronouns for really anybody sometimes if you are talking in
or if you don't, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that that's how they identify. I mean, I'm a man, but
So they identify, their identity is agender, which is no gender.
It's nonsense, though. And there's okay. So
It's
if you look
not
at the English,
nonsense. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's nonsense.
well, I live in reality. No offense. But,
Okay. So do they. So.
Right. And so I'm a man. Okay. When people talk about me, say I'm not there, right? And they're telling a story about something I did. They might still say, oh, and then they did this.
Yeah, I know. I know how pronouns
That
work.
doesn't mean I identify as they, them, because that makes no fucking sense.
I didn't say they identify as they, them. They prefer they, them pronouns because they don't feel comfortable with gender specific pronouns such as she, her, and he, him.
But
they feel more comfortable with they, them.
Who identifies as a female and is a female, but they don't.
They identify as agender.
What does that mean?
No gender.
But they were born a female.
Correct.
Again, female is not a gender. Female is a sex.
Okay, so how many sexes can there be?
3.
Okay. What are the 3?
Male, female, intersex.
And what is intersex?
Intersex means that you have sex characteristics that are both male and female.
Right. Those are the only three things you can be.
For sex. And
Right.
even then, sex is not this super straightforward thing. Thank you for the tiny
So
for the little crown.
these are the sex and gender rules of society, in my opinion. Okay. And I think that a lot of people hold this opinion. And anybody who states otherwise, that say, I was born a man, okay, but I identify as a female, okay. For
You
most
even just Grinch, you even mixed it up, right?
well, can I finish my point real fast?
No, because you're not born a man and identify as a female. You could be born male and identify as a woman.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just finish real quick. So, say you're a male, born male, okay, with male genitalia, and then you identify as a female, okay. You can say that, okay, and
As a
most of
woman.
society will treat you respectfully and not call you out on that. But at the same time, okay, that is within your own mental state that you're claiming that. That does not mean it's based in reality. Okay.
That is completely ridiculous, right? Because you don't know, like, people call me a woman, right? They assume I'm a woman, but they have no idea what my sex was assigned at birth. They're just assuming. You're not requiring cis people to prove their sex to make sure you are considering them valid. So why are you holding transgender people to that standard?
It's not.
It's
That's
still
problematic.
a guess. You're more than likely going to be right, but it's still a guess. You could be wrong.
Let me give you an example.
And that's you being wrong on your guess, not them being wrong on their identity. That's what you're not understanding here. When you guess and you're incorrect, you are the one who's wrong, not them. You.
Okay. But here's the thing. Why is it society's, everybody else's responsibility to get that guess right? And I'm not trying to be rude, but if someone's
No.
in between, they look like a mix of both.
It's not your responsibility to get the guess right. It's your responsibility when you are corrected to correct yourself, to recognize that.
But here's the thing, though, is you're asking people to deny reality and to pretend.
No, you're not.
You keep saying that, and you can't substantiate that.
Literally, trans people are living in reality.
What does gender mean to you?
Gender means male or female to me. Or, like you said, there's those small percentages that are born with maybe both.
Right. So you're the one not living in reality. You're denying that gender exists. You keep defaulting to sex.
I don't understand how there could be more. And there can be somebody who, like in your case, Adora, I'm assuming, is that you identify as a woman. Okay.
I'm a woman.
No one. There might be some those dirtbags once in a while that are gonna purposely make fun of you, call you out of what you want to be called, to be disrespectful. Most people will not do that. Okay. But at the same time, you cannot expect the rest of the world to agree that you were
You're running away
born
from my question. What does gender mean to you?
That's what that means to me. Is you're either a male or female. Okay.
So then the
say that
issue
you're
here
something
is that
else,
you don't know the difference between sex and gender.
there's no difference.
Okay, so they literally talk about different aspects of the human experience. When we're talking about biological sex, it's related to your reproductive functions. That's your chromosomes, your genitalia, your hormone levels, etc., things like that. And gender is psychosocial, meaning it is partially psychological, is partially social. Those are completely different aspects of the human experience.
And that's probably where the argument between the two different sides. That's
Yeah,
probably
because there is a difference between sex and gender, and you're refusing to acknowledge that.
well, and that's the thing is, I think that's where the breakdown is that people that believe that, okay, expect the other side to believe that. And what's true I guess it's anybody's guess, but that I'm just identifying that, looking at the argument, that's the breaking
No,
point between
that is
both sides.
incorrect.
Well, you can say that, but that doesn't mean it's true.
There is truth. Have you tried looking for it?
That's the truth in your reality.
No. There's the truth, right? We don't live in different realities.
So
There is a difference between sex and gender.
Okay, the last 2,000 years.
Forever, there's been a difference between sex and gender.
Oh, really? That seems like just the past maybe 10 years it's really picked up.
Just because you weren't aware of it doesn't mean it didn't exist.
Right, yeah. From a scientific standpoint, we've recognized the difference between sex and gender for over 100 years. And even socially, we use those terms in different manners.
I disagree.
I mean, there is a lot of people who use terms like male and female in reference to sex. That is a true statement.
Well, and that's the thing.
In
Is
reference to
the
gender,
people that do that, okay, are living in a delusion. I think it is a mental health problem, which is fine.
Okay.
Because those people will
There's
not be
a lot
treated
of people who use the
respectfully.
terms male and female in reference to gender. You just said that they are delusional. No. They're just wrong.
That's your reality. But everybody else's reality is there's two genders.
You didn't understand what I said.
So for you to sit there and say that the other side's wrong, and we're the ones living in delusion.
We didn't say anyone was living in delusion. Right, you're just denying, like, you're not willing to educate yourself. That's all.
I'm denying something that's been fact for 2,000 years.
What's been a fact for 2,000 years? That there's two genders?
Who is the delusional one?
Grinch. I want to make sure I understand what you said. Are you saying that what we've understood for thousands of years is that there's only two genders? Am I understanding correctly?
Yep.
Okay. So what about the dozens and dozens and dozens of cultures that have recognized more than two genders throughout human history?
So what are the genders they recognize?
Let me get you a list.
All right.
It's largely indigenous cultures and the like. Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate it. Okay. It's one part of my old master doc that I haven't updated to my new one. I spent the weekend doing a ton of work on my master doc. It's so much more organized, but I haven't done this part yet. Jessica Hunt would like. Well, in the meantime, while I get that, Jessica Hunt would like to come up and ask a question.
Hello.
How you doing, Jessica?
Hi.
Not too bad. How about y'all?
Doing fantastic. What question would you like to ask?
Okay, so Grinch. Let's say you were out in public somewhere. I don't care where, bowling alley, movie theater, anywhere, and somebody guessed that you were a woman, and you corrected them. You say, "No, I'm a man." Would you then expect them to adhere to your correction?
Well, here's the thing, though, Jessica, is that nobody would identify me as that because I speak like a man. I carry myself.
Are you sure about that?
100%.
I doubt that, but let's say it did happen. As unlikely as you think it to be, let's say it did happen. Would you then still expect them to adhere to your correction?
I would laugh at them, okay? And
okay, Grinch. Jesus.
Obviously, no, listen.
All right, so I have a different scenario. Then, if you don't think that you could ever be misgendered,
I want to answer.
No, hold on. Let me give you another scenario. Okay, my husband, cisgender man, right? He has a more feminine sounding voice, so and a gender neutral name, so he does get misgendered, and he does correct people. Does he have the right to do that?
Yeah, I mean, he's born a man, right? So people could be
So why can he correct people when they get his gender wrong, but a transgender person cannot?
Because his gender is based in reality.
Oh,
he was
Jesus.
born that
You're
way.
just a dick. That's it.
Okay.
I gotta go.
I'm trying to answer your questions honestly from my perspective.
Okay,
and to
great.
answer Justin's
Let's
question,
take
if I was at the bowling alley, okay.
Let's take your stance here that we are wrong and that there are only two genders. What would the harm be in invalidating trans identities, anyways?
And I told you there's no harm in that, and most people
There's no harm in it.
Here's the thing. Okay, let me finish. Including myself, most people would be respectful. Okay, and I probably wouldn't even engage that person. But at the same time, you cannot expect people to actually state yes. So say it's a man that transitioned into being a woman. Okay,
It's not
you
how it
cannot.
is. Sure.
What's that?
We're not men who become women. We always were our gender.
Okay. Well, you understand what I'm trying to say, right? It's a guy who's trying to look like a female, okay, and
But yeah,
say they're a female.
Let's move forward. Let's not get caught up on it.
Okay. Well, you can't expect the rest of the world to say 100% yes, that person is a female, because everybody knows in truth that they are not. It is a man dressing up like a woman, pretending to be a woman, which is fine, okay, because I think it's hateful to disrespect somebody for being who they are, but at the end of the day, they are still a man.
The question was, it wasn't are we or are we women? The question was, what would the harm be in validating us anyways? And
There's no harm in
there
those.
would not be any harm. So why not just do it?
But the problem is when you expect people to accept that as true.
What is the harm in expecting to be gendered in the manner that feels good to me?
Because it's not reality. It's delusion.
No, that doesn't make it harm.
Subscribe to delusion, okay?
I want to be clear to everyone listening that I do not think that that being trans is a delusion. But we are taking Grinch's hypothetical situation here. You're still not able to provide me any sign that it would be harmful to anybody to validate us anyways.
I think it's harmful for society to deny truth.
What would the harm be to society?
Because you're living in delusion.
You're still not giving me examples of how it's harmful.
How is it a delusion? What's your basis?
Because they're not actually what they are saying they are.
Additionally, I do have those cultures that recognize 3 or more genders.
And where it gets harmful is when you have men that were born men saying, "Oh, I can't wait to get pregnant," and then them pretending to be pregnant and saying, "Oh, I got pregnant finally," which is biologically impossible. And then
again,
saying,
what would the
source, please?
Women don't really do that. And second of all, what's the harm?
That's very harmful to the human race.
How would that be harmful to the human race?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Let me know. How would that be? How would a trans woman pretending to be pregnant harm the human
I think
race?
that when humans start to deny truth, it's going to be the downfall of humans.
Yeah, there's a whole different angle we could go there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to ask you again. What would the harm be in a transgender woman pretending to be pregnant? There may actually be a valid answer to this, but there's definitely not a harm to society.
But there's got to be some
I know it's
harm
disrespectful to or something like that to women who are pregnant. I don't know.
I think there's got to be some harm when people will willingly subscribe to mental health issues and play along with that delusion.
Sorry?
I think that's a problem. I think that there can be harm when humans will willingly subscribe to mental health issues and play along with delusion. That can bring all kinds of problems.
You keep telling me there's going to be all types of problems, and you keep not telling me what kind of problems there are.
Well, we're not there yet, but we're on our way. We'll find out.
So if you can't give me an example, then why is your point valid?
Because fact is fact.
How can it be a fact if you can't even give me an example?
Well, I'm telling you, fact is fact that there's only men and women.
But if it's a fact you should be able to provide at least one example, if not more.
Well, I mean, we can even look at how suicide rates are higher among transsexual people.
We can't use the S word on TikTok, and there's reasons as to why our unaliving ideation rate is high.
Because
I have loads of stats about our unaliving ideation rate.
Because it's a mental health issue. That's the reason.
No,
it is.
Okay,
it's because of how we're treated by society.
Literally.
That's what drives it so high.
I spent the entire weekend just finding stats about this specific topic. Let's see what I can get for you. All right. Okay. 82% of transgender adults have accessed formal mental health care compared to 40% of cisgender adults. 81% of trans adults have had unaliving ideation at some point in their lives. 42% of trans adults have attempted. 56% of trans adults have reported self-unaliving self-injury. Queer kids are 4 times more likely to attempt than cishet kids. 41% of LGBT youth, young people, seriously considered attempting in the past year. Let's see.
And don't you think there's a deeper problem there that you address?
Okay, so let's see. With gender affirmation, trans people see improved quality of life, greater relationship satisfaction, higher self-esteem and confidence, and reductions in anxiety, depression, and, wait for it, unaliving ideation. When we are affirmed, we have reductions in unaliving ideation.
So when they're affirmed, that those rates go down?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying? So what happens when people get those operations and then they change their mind and say, man, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I want to go back.
Unlikely. It does happen. And there is treatment for people who get the surgeries and regret it.
Isn't it like one of the lowest surgery regret rates in the world?
Yep, less than 1%.
I mean, we're talking like an amputation for a diabetic limb. I mean, we're talking all surgical procedures.
And it's as Linda just said, gender affirmation is not just surgery. It's also using the correct pronouns. It's also using the correct name, letting people dress the way they want. It's also things like hormones, puberty blockers, and surgery.
What's your stance on parents who allow their children to transition early? Do you think that parent has mental issues?
Get those ankle breakers out, guys. That was quite a pivot.
No, I'm just asking. I don't mean to pivot.
You made the point that that transgender people have a high unaliving ideation rate, which proves that it is a mental health issue. And yet I can provide you data right here that shows that when we are affirmed, our unaliving ideation drops.
Okay. And that's good. I mean, I don't think people should feel like they need to take those steps and off themselves. Self-love is an important thing.
You're just not listening. I mean, affirmation is something that doesn't just come from us, it also comes from those around us.
So what are you affirming, whether you're a male or female? What other genders can you affirm yourself as?
All the genders.
Which would be?
I got you, like the ones that I said earlier on. I also have
let's do an example. If you're a male and you want to change into a non-binary, what does that transition and surgery look like?
It can be, non-binary people can get or not get any surgery they want.
They have to have.
Can I just say something real quick? Sex is not the thing that changes, or it's not determinant of who the person is. We're talking about gender here, not biological sex.
Okay, so what do they do in the operations to affirm the gender that you want?
You don't have to have an operation again. That's why I re-requested Grange, because I swear it's like you don't listen, right? I already talked to you about my youngest child's identity, right? All that they needed was neutral pronouns and for people to recognize that.
But we're talking about operations. If you're a
Right,
male,
that's not what not everyone needs any type of operation to affirm them.
When they do, if you're a male and you want to transition, I'm asked. There are people that do. Okay.
Sure, there are people that do. But
Sure,
that's
someone
not
who's
what we're talking about.
someone who's non-binary may want top surgery or something.
What do they get? Okay, they get top surgery, right? They get
Maybe.
boobs. Okay.
No, typically
they get the JJs. Those are
it would,
female.
no. Oh my God. It
Okay,
would
so-
typically be a
okay.
Okay, so let's look at the other way. If you're a female,
Okay, so hold on
I
a
want to
minute.
listen. You just don't want to listen.
Hold on a minute, Grinch. I'm a trans woman. I have not had any of the surgeries, and I'm okay with that. I may consider like an orchiectomy in the future sometime, but I may not. I'm pretty okay with who I am now. So surgery is not like a requisite of being trans and being happy.
if you don't want to get those, then you will look like a man, and people will mistake you for being a man, and that's not the other people's fault.
Oh my
God. Yes, it is.
Are you serious?
Other people's fault.
100% serious.
So you want everyone to look a certain way so you can get their gender correctly, so you can be the one who's right.
Well, I think the obligation is on the individual. If they want to look like a female, then they should look like a female. If not, then that's kind of on them when they get misgendered. In my
Oh my
opinion.
God, you're just gross, dude.
I'm not gross. It's
Yeah, you are.
reality. I'm sorry.
It's not reality.
When I
You just
see a
keep
guy
saying that.
with hairy legs wearing a miniskirt, he's got a full beard. Okay, that's a dude.
Maybe that is a dude.
That could be
that
a
person
female
is a dude.
too. You don't know.
Yep.
And if you guess that person is a dude and that person's a dude, cool, you got it right. If you guess they were a dude and they're actually a woman, you can be like, oh, whoops, sorry. That's it. Not a big deal. You're making this so much of a big deal. You want to be able to just assume everyone's identity. When Adora just went through all the unaliving rates, right? How much distress it causes people when someone just won't validate them. Oh, bye.
We got a track star.
Gosh, it's so frustrating.
That song. Yeah, I know, huh? Right when you're in the middle of it. Welcome back, Mel.
Hi.
Oh, that was quite a conversation. Really doesn't feel like it went anywhere at all.
No.
And also, if you need me to drop at any point, just let me know.
Oh, geez, no, you're welcome to stay up here.
Cool, thanks.
Stay up here. How you doing, Jessica?
Oh, not too bad. How about y'all?
Yes. Doing all right.
All right.
Really no complaints today. Feeling pretty good. Okay,
Good.
if everyone could tap the screen and share the live, please remember that I am fundraising for a family in Gaza. So if you click on my profile right up here and click on my link tree, you will find that GoFundMe. If you can reasonably send them some money, doesn't matter how much, how little, please do so. If you can't, there are other ways you can help. You can watch the first few videos on my page, which are all related to the fundraiser. Watch them all the way to the end. Like, share, comment, and follow. All of that is beneficial and helpful to the fundraiser. So yeah, thank you. All right, going to bring in the next guest right now. I want to remind everyone, because we got a ton of new subscribers today. We got like 20 new subscribers. Thank you, everyone. If you subscribe to the TikTok tier, that's the $5.99 tier. To the Discord tier, that's the $5.99 tier. You do get access to my Discord right over here. That's my Discord. That's my Discord. You get lifetime access to the Discord. So if that's something you're interested in, please subscribe to the Discord tier. Am I doing any more battles? I may do some battles to fundraise for the family. I do not yet have any plans in place, but I may do battles to fundraise for the family. I took the weekend off, guys. I did not make plans for the future. I mean, I did spend I spent the majority of my weekend working on my master doc and reading up on studies. So I suppose that does count as work. But I took it away from planning lives.
I mean, hey, whatever it takes to get your mental health right.
Yes, exactly.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing, Eyeball?
Hello, I'm very good. How are you?
Doing all right. How old are you, please?
I'm 18.
18. What year were you born?
Yes. 2003.
Okay, you have a good day.
Hey, shut the fuck up. Chill out, man.
Hi, Kasha.
Oh my gosh.
Hope you're doing well, Kasha. I haven't reached out to Kasha in a little while. I gotta say hi to Kasha. Thank you for the little crown. Kendra.
Hello.
Thank you for the first time subscription. How old are you, Kendra?
I'm 16.
I appreciate you being honest. You have to be 18 to go live.
Oh, oops.
Gen0614.
That is the perfect response when we tell them they're too young. Oops.
Yep, exactly. No Gen. How about Al? Thank you, Blem, for the garland. Thank you. We lost Al. Thank you for the festival bling. I hope they come out with some LGBT stuff for Pride Month. I feel like they won't. Hello, Kaylee.
Hi.
How old are you, please?
28.
28. Fantastic. And am I listening? Thank you for the ice cream.
So I was listening to the Grinch's whole argument with you, and the funny thing is I can mostly clearly see both sides of the argument. Like, it's really weird for my brain because I can completely understand both sides. So it's frustrating just sitting here listening to both of you, and I'm like, both of you are so completely valid because I actually truly understand where you're both coming from.
I would disagree. I would disagree that both sides are valid. I would love to hear. First, let's start with the positive. What arguments do you think are valid?
I mean, well, everything that you're saying is completely factual, and like as you were talking about things, I like was looking them up to actually see, like the difference between gender and sex and but like everything that you've been talking about. You do your research, so obviously you're correct.
I have a reputation for not. I don't know where I got that reputation from, but thank you.
Yeah, and I guess as I don't know, I don't like to say the term cisgender because I feel like I don't know. I mean, other people can use it if they want to, but I feel like it's not something that should be labeled to someone who like doesn't identify that as well, Like if I am just like a straight female, I feel like it should just be that,
That doesn't tell us your identity, though. That just tells us your sex, and it tells us your sexuality.
Exactly.
So cis is saying that I would be what?
You're both a woman, and you were assigned female at birth. It says both.
I made a chart. I don't know how.
So if I say I'm a cis woman,
so that's just the confusion for me. Is like, why is everyone labeling everything?
Because that's what we do as humans.
And it's an adjective.
Yeah.
It's an
I
adjective,
guess.
like straight hair, curly hair, long hair, instead of just saying hair.
Right, but then why is everyone getting so offended? Like, I mean, you can say you're a lesbian if you want to, sure. Like,
thank you.
I don't see a reason why you can't say that if you. Okay, so here basically it goes down to this. I believe that every soul comes into a body, whether your soul was female or male. Maybe you were a female soul and you dropped into a male body. Why does it matter? Why do we have to put labels on it? Why do you have to have people arguing saying...
So we need these labels because sometimes we have to talk about our differences. I'm a woman. I'm going to stab a guess that you're a woman.
Yes.
So, right. So we're both women, but we're not the same. We were born in different circumstances. We are treated by society differently. We're raised differently. So there are key differences between us. My community is being attacked from a legal standpoint. We're losing specific rights for being trans. So when we're talking about those kind of things, it is relevant to say that, hey, trans people are having this experience and cis people are having that experience. It's relevant for communication.
Right. I would think everyone kind of gets judged on how they look, though. It's not just, I mean, maybe if you look a certain way, that would be everyone, right? Because I would say, and this is just my saying, I think you look feminine, right? So what's the difference of you seeing me, a quote-unquote cis female, saying and assuming that I'm female? I'm assuming that you're female the way you're presenting, right?
Sure, but we don't. We're going in several different directions here. You don't have to present a certain way in order to be a woman. Like, I would say it's atypical of a woman to wear a little mustache thing.
Right, and you being cis or someone being trans has nothing to do with how you look. Again, it's the relationship between your gender identity and your sex assigned at birth. So if you're male,
I think the problem is the argument.
What do you mean?
Everyone, I think, like, instead, I get that you're coming on here and trying to have these conversations with people for people to learn and, like, get more in depth on things and understand. It's great. I love that. But I feel like the narrative should push everyone to, why does it matter? Nobody should care what you look like, what you are under the clothes, any of that. It shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't, but even if we lived in an ideal world where everybody was accepting of transgender people, there's still a difference between trans people and cis people. So when we're having conversations about our difference, guys, I love the way I look right now. I love it. It's wild. But when we're talking about those differences, we need.
These differences are usually only even talked about in places like medical spaces, legal spaces, and trans spaces like this on TikTok. Otherwise, the differences are largely irrelevant.
Right. Those are the places that it should matter, depending on which. And I know this is kind of going to be going up people's butts. They're going to be mad about it, but it does matter which bathroom people go into for certain reasons and certain people. Not everyone, but it does matter for that. Doctors, there are so many things that it really does matter, but it shouldn't matter. And what I'm saying is, like, the message that everyone should be getting on is talking about it shouldn't matter. Like, people shouldn't care about any of that.
And we need to talk about it, how it matters, why it matters, not whether it should or should not matter.
But that's just people's feelings. That's just because people are getting upset over.
Feelings are actually very, like, relevant, right? But when we're talking about these conversations, we are actually talking about the truth and we're talking about facts. So again, like, when you came up here and you said that, I know we're not supposed to talk about previous guests, but, like, I'm trying to figure out why you're neutral, right? When that person was calling trans people delusional, right? Saying that denying truth is the harm to society when he's literally the one denying truth and harming society. Like, why are you not?
In a sense, I can see, yes, he's denying truth that there are people who identify as different things, but there are technically two sexes. And yes, he was flip-flopping back and forth between not understanding the difference between.
There's three sex categories, but the thing is, that's not what we're arguing. We agree that there's sexes.
Right, but I think, okay, so where he's saying, I think delusional is kind of a harsh word to say, but in a sense, everyone, sorry?
Would you say that we're wrong about the fact that there's more than two genders?
That who's wrong? Sorry.
Is there more than two genders?
There is a spectrum of what you would say, quote unquote, genders. I think he was confused on saying that. I think a lot of people get confused on sex and gender and they think it's the same thing.
Right, sure. But he's not confused, right? He was just denying. He was unwilling to learn. There's a difference, right? There's a difference between ignorance and willful ignorance. When you're unwilling to educate yourself, when you double down, that's where the harm comes in. Thank you.
Right. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of generational learning that it's hard to, it comes from trauma too. You have to unlearn a lot of past trauma. So it's not like one conversation on TikTok he's gonna understand or learn that. Like, even in this, like, I've thought about during the whole conversation, each point, when you come to talk and you're talking with people you don't know, it's kind of, you get anxious, I guess, and forget things.
Sure, yep. I'm guilty. I'm very guilty of that.
But I think, sorry.
This playing both sides, it just causes harm to the marginalized community that you're saying that you also support. When you validate transphobic ideology, you're still causing harm to us.
How am I validating that?
You're saying that you can see both sides. You're saying that
no, I'm saying I can understand what he is thinking. I'm not saying I agree with it. I can understand how he thought the way he thought, because it's coming from a.
I also can understand why people have certain views, even if I disagree with them. It doesn't mean that I agree with the point. So, would you say that trans identities are valid?
Everyone's identity is valid.
Trans women are women, trans men are men, etc. Would you say that trans women belong in women's bathrooms?
I would say that it doesn't matter what you look like. It depends on what is in your pants, honestly.
So there is some issues there. First of all, we don't know what's in anyone's pants, so there's no way for us to determine.
Right.
So that doesn't actually.
And it's not to say that someone's a bad person or not. It has nothing to do with their character. It goes down to the bare bones of if a 5-year-old little girl is in the bathroom and say an actual bad person that is a male identifying as a female, and that's a bad representation for the trans community, go in and they're setting they hurt the little girl, whatever, it comes out. This is why can't we have separate bathrooms? I don't understand that. Why is it a big deal?
Men's and women's.
So in your scenario, were you talking about someone pretending to be a trans person?
Yes. Or maybe they are and they're just a bad person. There's bad people everywhere.
Right,
I understand
so we can't stop bad people from being everywhere, right? And what you're doing is when you're...
No, but we can try.
No, but all that does is just actually harm people.
Would you advocate for banning cisgender men from going out in public?
Cisgender men from going out in public? Why?
Because cisgender men are by far and away the most likely to commit violent crime.
But it's a public area. I'm saying a place where you're vulnerable going...
Cisgender men belong in public areas. So I would not...
Yeah, everyone does.
Right. I would not advocate for banning cisgender men from public spaces, despite the fact that of all the demographics, cisgender men are by far and away the most likely to cause harm.
Okay.
Thank you for the ice cream. Thank you for the ice cream.
Also, if a man is pretending to be a woman to go into the bathroom, that is again a cisgender man problem, not a trans woman problem.
Okay, that was just one scenario. What if what if the person was, or say whatever, it was a female pretending to be a male and hurts a young boy? Like, it's the same thing. Why aren't there? If you're saying that gender,
arrest them and prosecute them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, crimes are
arrest them
okay.
and prosecute them. I don't care who you are. If you're essaying somebody, you should be arrested and prosecuted. You know.
Yeah, and 5-year-olds shouldn't be going to the bathroom alone anyway. So it's just kind of another.
No, but there are bad parents out there too. Yes, there's bad people in the world. That's the whole thing. But I think
right. So
whatever. Sorry.
All types of genders going into each restroom. Like, it's not gonna. That's just gonna cause more confusion, and people aren't gonna know what to do,
where to go.
Because there are a lot of transgender children, right? They're not getting any type of bottom surgery.
No.
Or are you gonna?
Well, it doesn't matter what bathroom a child goes in.
So a teenage trans girl, right? Even though they were assigned male at birth, you're okay with them using the women's restroom, so their genitalia doesn't matter.
What it matters. So what if they change into that sex, then they go to that bathroom.
So Callie, you're not changing into any type of sex, right? So gender identity actually develops in the brain as a child. Transgender people just naturally develop incongruent from their sex. So you can be a male and naturally develop into a girl, or a female
Right.
and naturally develop into a boy. So no one's choosing to do anything.
I think we're getting confused. I think the baseline.
Also think that a lot of people are getting confused, which is also
Yeah.
why I advocate for education on these matters in schools. We shouldn't have to do this here on TikTok.
There should never be the education in schools. Nobody should ever be allowed to teach someone else's child about sex ever.
This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, when you see both sides, you do have problematic ideology. You do. You have views that are harmful to the queer community.
Well, maybe
Right, because then you
it
wouldn't
would
be
be,
so
but that's why. No, I'm just saying, like, as an outside perspective from both, because I can
Kelly,
see both sides.
because the one side who doesn't want this taught wants their children to remain ignorant.
No,
and to
I'm
be
saying-
bigoted. yes. They don't
No.
want them to learn about this. Have you thought
Not
about
learn
why?
about it in school. You can teach
Why?
it to your children on your own.
Why don't they want? Callie,
Because then you're pushing a narrative.
Callie,
narrative.
people don't understand what being trans is, so they cannot teach it to their children.
Yeah, my parents were very, very pro-LGBT, but even though I was taught about gay people and bisexual people and lesbians, I was never taught about transgender people. And the end result was that I went through the wrong puberty, a puberty that caused me immense suffering. I experienced unaliving ideation as a result. And this is because my parents also didn't know about trans people. And therefore, I wasn't taught about trans people.
I'm
and
sorry
just
you
said,
went
like,
through that.
You shouldn't be teaching about sex. There's nothing sexual about being transgender. It's not a sexual thing. It's really
No, I'm
natural
not saying
development.
sexual. I'm saying the sex in general. We shouldn't be teaching children that are literal children. Yeah, sure. That would be a great topic for teenagers. And I get what you're saying. You had to go through the hormones that you feel you weren't supposed to go through. But
Right, but that's
also,
not what you would be teaching young children. Young children, you would be teaching them that you may meet someone that you assumed was a girl or that we thought was a girl. You probably wouldn't say assumed to young kids. You would say, we could meet someone that we thought was a girl, but they're actually a boy.
Yeah.
And then when they tell us that they're a boy, we can use he, him pronouns for them and go use whatever name that they're going to use.
Right.
And that's it. So why would you be
And
against
that's-
that education?
that's completely fine. But I think it should
That's
be
the
up.
education
I'm just
that we're
saying,
talking about.
okay, then it should also be up to the parent to decide whether their child should learn that.
Why?
From the pure.
What's the negative? What's harmful about that?
About that specific learning topic, nothing. But there also is the fact of they're taking, and I don't believe in this, but they are taking the church out of schools because people don't want that to be taught to their children, which is fair. So why can't it be the same? You know,
Because that's a belief system. It's not something that is grounded in. It's not something that is. We don't have any proof of any one religion. There are thousands and thousands of religions, and we don't have proof that one is right over the other. If we're going to, if we were to,
because none of them are right.
Hang on. Well, I agree. But the point would be, if we were to teach one religion, we would have to teach all the religions in order to be fair, despite the
Right.
fact that there's not any evidence supporting any of them. Meanwhile, we have overwhelming evidence that queer people exist. There
is factual evidence in all religion, not all of it
maybe
in each
historical
one.
evidence, but I would not
Yeah.
say. of
Sure,
any-
that there are religions, sure, and we can teach about religions in school. right?
No, but there are historical, actual found evidence of, say, things in the Bible. I know specifically, like they literally found Noah's Ark.
Historical evidence is not proof that there is a being that creates us all and has power over the entire universe.
No, but that's that specific. Okay, so here's the idea though, that
is teaching about religions, about the different religions, and teaching about different people that live in society. That's it. You're not teaching how to be transgender because it's not a thing you can teach. You're just teaching about it. And if you have to think about why a parent would not want their child to learn about the society that they live in.
Yeah, but then we should be taught everything.
Well, I think the point that Mel's trying to make here is that nobody, not kids, not adults, not anybody, nobody can be convinced, coerced, or brainwashed to being trans or being gay or lesbian.
Correct.
That's not a thing. That's just who we are.
Right, that's your soul. So the whole reason why I came on, and that's how the last one went too. It just, because new things come up and it just keeps going in circles. I think the whole point of you being on here and asking people, am I a lesbian? Prove me wrong, is putting up the wrong narrative. It's causing arguments and causing people to get more confused. It doesn't matter.
Am I a lesbian?
It absolutely does matter.
Are you? That's a question for you. Are you a lesbian?
No, it's a question for you right now. I've stated that I am a lesbian, so now I'm asking you, am I a lesbian?
Then yes, you are a lesbian. Then why is this on here?
Are there people that say that no, I am not? Are there people that are trying to separate me from that identity?
I'm sure there are.
Yes, and are some of those people trying to strip my community of rights? And are some of those people treating my community incredibly poorly?
Yes, everyone's being treated poorly.
No, not everyone.
So Kaylee, you're doing this is the problem with like being in the middle, right? Is you're not recognizing that you have privilege. You're not recognizing that the LGBTQ community is a marginalized community.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying,
well, every time we try to point out a specific thing on this community, you're like, well, everyone is.
Well, that's true. It's kind of like this is going to go a whole different way. It's every single, it's just a topic that you guys are into.
Why?
That we're into. You think I'm into
about this?
No, you're missing. I don't have the correct, sorry, that's not the correct verbiage for what I'm trying to say.
Why are we talking about these topics?
You're trying to educate people, but you're doing it in a way as an argument.
But why, Kaylee?
Instead of a educational
I don't care if you think we're doing it wrong. Why are we doing it?
I just said because you're trying to educate people.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we feel this education is very important?
Because it helps evolutionize the world. I don't know.
The LGBTQ community is losing rights, right? They're being targeted in the United States. Children
what rights are you losing?
Oh my goodness. The right to
I don't
use
know.
the
I'm sorry.
The right to use the bathroom that aligns with your identity. That was something that trans people already were doing before laws started banning them from that. The right to health care. 22 states have banned gender affirming care for kids, which is was causing harm to children. There also are states that are trying to make laws where if teachers validate a child's pronouns, that they could get charged with a SMEX crime, or they could lose their jobs. Jeez, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot.
And I'm sure it's different in every state.
It is, yes. Do you think?
Sorry, I'm not trying to come in here and argue. I'm trying to understand and learn, but I did want to come in and, I don't understand why you're trying to argue with people is the whole thing.
Callie,
I'll leave.
It's not about you leaving, right? It's about you trying to get you to understand why being on both sides is problematic.
right?
I wouldn't say I'm on both sides. I just understand where they're coming from.
Which side are you on then?
Why does it have to be a black? This is the problem with this world. This world is not black and white. You're saying that gender is a spectrum. You want everyone to understand that gender is a spectrum. So is everything else.
But you are. This is a case of you're for us or you're against us. There really isn't an.
No, that is not true. That is not true at all.
Okay, how can you be in between human rights?
How can you be asexual? How can you be the non-binary gender? It is the same thing. Take yourself out of the situation. You cannot tell me that I cannot understand both sides when you are saying that there are multiple genders. It's the same concept.
You disagree?
It is not harmful. It is not harmful.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
No, it is not.
Non-binary. I'm non-binary.
Yeah.
It is not harmful because then I therefore may meet some.
Jay here.
Callie, did you recognize the laws I just brought up too? Do you see how those could be a problem?
Yes, it is a problem, but how your point was saying that I need to pick a side. That is not true.
Why wouldn't you be on the side that like losing human rights is not okay?
And I would help that side when if there was a vote to help those people, I would. But there is not.
There is
a side.
Probably
you shouldn't have to pick a side.
That is our side.
Okay, but there shouldn't be sides. Do you understand that?
You should always pick the side of human rights, 100% of the time, without question.
I think this is the problem with the world, though. We shouldn't have sides. We should all come together as one.
Oh my God.
There shouldn't be a side. There shouldn't be a side.
Whether or not there shouldn't be, there is, Kaylee.
That's an is-odd fallacy.
It's because you make it a side. You are coming out here and yelling at people.
Do this.
No, I don't think that was.
Do you know what
not you
Project
specifically.
2025 is?
Okay.
Do you know what Project 2025 is, Kaylee?
No, I have not heard of that.
Okay, so I would definitely look into it. It's very valid and very important. There are 12 pages addressing transgender people. Separate pages in this slew of an addendum that is said to be voted into our democracy and our government if anybody on the Republican side wins our presidency election this fall. It's literally already bold stated and been in the news for literally months. And it quite bluntly cancels trans people. So there is a side. We didn't ask for it. We got put in the middle. So now we're here advocating for ourselves, and you're saying that it's confusing. Well, I can understand that's why it's confusing. That's why we're here trying to talk to people. But unless you can be open-minded and understand...
I think I am the most open-minded person.
I would have to disagree.
I would also have to disagree.
Same.
Because I quite literally am non-binary. So if you want to understand non-binary identities, I'm right here. Sitting here and invalidating non-binary identities on Adora's Live is not being open-minded.
You don't know me, so you don't know what goes on in my mind about my gender
All
or
I know is
identity.
what
So
you said previously, within the
Okay.
last 10 minutes. I never claimed to say that I knew you.
But saying that I don't understand, I guess based off of what I've said, I don't see how I'm not being open-minded. I'm saying
I said you
quite
invalidating
clearly.
you invalidating non-binary identities is
I'm not
being
invalidating
open-minded.
non-binary identities at all.
Kaylee, maybe you just need to listen to someone who's non-binary that is saying that you are, right? And you could say, "Oh,
Okay,
I am. How am I doing that? Maybe I can fix."
Yeah, well, that's what I was just gonna say. Jay, how did I invalidate you with what I said?
It was just the way you were talking about how third genders don't exist.
I never said they don't exist. That was
intention. That was the impact that it made.
So
See, and that's your. I'm sorry, but that was your perspective on what I said.
Haley, I just want to get some clarification.
Yeah.
Do you believe that there are more than two genders? It's a yes or no.
Yes, it's a spectrum.
Fantastic. Awesome.
And that was the point, is everything's a spectrum, because you said I had to pick a side. Everything's a spectrum. That was the umbrella. That was, imagine the tip
Yeah,
of the
not
umbrella.
everything.
They're both the same.
Not everything is a spectrum, though. Like, there are literally a side.
How is it not?
There's a side in politics right now who are against trans people, and there's a side who's for them. And it's also.
And there's people who understand both
human rights.
sides. How
I
you're
don't
so
know
you're
how you
invalidating me
understand.
now. So okay.
Kaylee, what human rights do we deserve to lose? Tell me. What
None.
rights do I
Nobody
deserve to lose?
does. None.
Then you are against the Republican Party in that case. You are on the opposite side of the Republican Party.
Right, but I can be on that side for that exact thing, but you are, I don't think you're understanding. If I'm invalidating Jay.
What good points are Republicans making about transgender people?
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying at all. You're not listening to me.
What sides do you think we're talking about, Kaylee?
Let's just take a deep breath for 1 second. Because I think we're all confused with each other.
You know, there are a few people who piss me off more than people who refuse to pick a side.
The people in the middle are the worst.
Yeah.
At least the people who are on the other side, we know that they hate us. So
Okay, so do you understand how hurtful that can be? Because that is, you're not understanding
Kaylee,
what
you're
I'm
making
saying.
this entire thing about you instead of listening.
I'm not making it about me. There's people who are in the middle who agree with both sides.
Thank you.
How
Thank
can you agree with a side? Oh my god.
Kaylee, thank you for.
Okay, I'll leave. You guys clearly don't want to hear that you're invalidating me.
Kaylee,
yeah, you
thank
seem
you for.
literally making it all about you.
That's literally all. I'm not at all. I'm saying you're not understanding the people who. And this is how you lose people.
You're
This
trying
is
to
how
say
you
that there
lose
is
people
another-
trying to help you.
I'm advocating, sitting here, arguing in favor of validating trans identities, of treating trans people well, of not bullying trans people, of educating queer people, of making sure that we don't lose rights. And you're saying, oh, well, I can see the other side. What the fuck?
Because I can understand some of the point. I'm not saying everything. Obviously, I agree with most everything that you've said.
Then what we've been trying to do this entire time is talk about what you agree with us and what you agree with them. So we can try to figure out where you're coming from. And instead of you talking about this, you're making yourself a victim and then getting upset and wanting to run away.
I'm not trying to be a victim. It's literally all I was saying was
right. So we already know that you don't understand like why the bathroom requirements that you have, the opinion you have is a problem. Oh, okay, bye.
She got kicked. She's not a runner. She got kicked. TikTok banned her. I don't know, guys.
That was a weird one.
Go for another one. I'm gonna have to reset if I do. What were you saying, Mel?
I said, well, that was a weird one. I mean, she was in the. I don't feel like she deserved to get banned, but.
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah. I used to be a centrist.
Ugh.
No. It was brief. It was very brief. Very, very brief.
Did she say she was Christian?
No, but she did use soul.
Okay, guys, I am going to come back. So if you all could tap that screen and share the live, that would be greatly appreciated. Actually, no, not tap the screen, share the live. When I come back, tap the screen, share the live. But in the meantime, follow me, because if you wanna see me under the notifications up here, so you can easily find me, give me a follow. That's what I meant to say. Follow me right up here. I'll be right back, guys. Hit that follow button. Be right back. 30 seconds.
Cool. Thanks.
Bye. I have exciting news. We are just followers away from 100,000. I am so excited. I still have to come up with a celebration, but haven't yet. Parker, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Doing all right? How old are you, please?
I'm 31.
31. All right. Am I a lesbian?
So let me preface this by saying I'm trans. I agree with you. You're a lesbian. Okay. I agree with you. That's how you identify. I respect that. I support that. All of it.
All right.
Even though I'm a trans man and I've gotten my top surgery and been on testosterone, I haven't been on it for 3 years now because it caused me some health issues. I guess my question I was going to ask everybody that was on the panel, what is the ban on affirming care for kids? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very ignorant when it comes to certain laws and things like that. And so I just want to understand, because I have a very mixed feeling about stuff like that, being that I'm a parent and I have kids. So I'd like to
varies
hear.
state to state. Some states are trying to ban all gender affirming care all the way up to the age of 25. Some states have banned things like puberty blockers and hormones for anyone under the age of 18. Some places are even trying to ban social transition in schools.
Okay. Because for me, like, I have two boys, right? And they're only 7 and 6. But if for some reason they came to me and they said, like, I'm a girl, I'm supposed to be a girl, I would totally 100% be okay with letting them socially transition and taking them to therapy. Where I get hung up on is when medical intervention starts to come in, because for me, I feel that I should not have. I regret parts of my transition.
Okay.
Like, I regret that, and I don't want to do something for my child under the age of 18, and then I'm responsible for something they regret further down the road.
My concern here is that you're more concerned about whether or not you would be responsible for something than the well-being of your child. That's what I'm hearing. Like, I don't think that you're not concerned about the well-being of your child, but so regret is the thing that absolutely happens. Oops, 1 second, I forgot to reset my Twitch. My poor Twitch viewers don't see anything. There we go. Okay. So regret is something. It's something inevitable anytime you have any kind of medical procedure at all. So the system that we have in place, it's designed to make sure that only the right people get the affirming care that they need, and it's just not. It's never going to be 100% perfect, and we shouldn't hold out for a system to be 100% perfect, because then we'll never have anything. The system we have in place right now, it requires insistence, persistence, and consistency. It requires a gender dysphoria diagnosis for anyone under the age of 18 to get any kind of medication, let alone surgery.
Okay. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said a lot.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I do care about the well-being of my child more than me making a decision. I guess for me, there's probably some trauma there that I haven't fully talked about or thought out, so backstory on me real quick. I came out at 17 or 16 as trans, socially transitioned. My family didn't support me, but I didn't care. I ended up having 2 kids, and then at age 26, that's when I decided to medically transition. I, however, went the informed consent route, and my story is not like other people's. Obviously, everyone has a different story on how things happen, but I literally went to this LGBTQ clinic, and they literally just said, okay, how long have you felt like a boy? Okay, you can have your shot now. Like, so that kind of freaks me out.
At what age? Sorry, Parker?
I mean, I was 26, so I made that decision. I know that for kids, it's completely different. I understand.
Right. I do advocate for informed consent for adults. I think adults should be allowed to do whatever that we want with our bodies, and then we should be allowed to make mistakes with our bodies too. So I do fully support simple informed consent, and not requiring a gender dysphoria diagnosis for things like hormones for adults. I don't advocate for that for kids. The path for kids is different. It's a lot different. Much more is required. A child must show insistence, persistence, and consistency, and in order to get any kind of hormones or puberty blockers or anything, they have to have that gender dysphoria diagnosis. And this is a lengthy process, not something that happens overnight. You don't just go into the doctors and come out with hormones.
Right. I respect that. And I also, like, I am for informed consent. Like, I don't want it to come off like I don't think that adults can do whatever with their bodies. Like, I do. I think that there still are some kinks that have to be worked out, because in situations where I wasn't informed by my doctor of many of the side effects. And I know as an adult, it's my job, right, to do that kind of research. But
I would
in that
actually disagree.
moment,
I would agree. Say that it is still the medical professional's job to inform you, and they
yeah.
should.
Yeah, so like I went through a lot when I was transitioning medically, so it was just really rough. And I think that the reason I have so much fear is just because of what I've gone through and the regrets I have. But if my kid came to me, of course, I'm going to do anything I can to support them because they're my child and I want them to live a long and happy life the way that they feel that they need to live.
So, would you mind repeating that last bit?
I said,
Just the very
if my
end.
kid came to me, and told me that they were trans, non-binary, whatever, and they wanted to transition, I definitely would be there for them every step of the way, and I would do whatever I could so that they could live a long and happy life. Like, I don't want to do something that's going to make them feel like they have no other way out than, the alternative of being alive. Like, I would do anything I could for them because they're my child and I love them.
And we have data that shows that gender affirming care can help in that area significantly.
No, I can agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Another part of the process that's very different for kids, that isn't necessarily that is less the case for adults, is that this is a heavily monitored process. Even once they have that gender dysphoria diagnosis, even once they have that prescription for hormones, they're going to be monitored closely by doctors. I would argue it should be the same for adults as well. We should also be going to 3 month, 6 month, 1 year checkups as well. But it's not just a prescription and then toss them out the door. They're monitored for their mental health, to make sure their mental health is good. They're monitored to make sure that their body is handling the hormones well. They're not just given a full adult dose of these medications. They start small and to see how the body is going to react, and then continue to add over time to make sure that everything is going well, not just physically but also emotionally. Thank you for the sub. 8-month subscriber. Thank you so much.
I guess my other question is, because I was listening to you guys talk to the person that said she was in the middle or whatever. I forget her name. Kaylee, something like that. So in yours, and Jay can chime in on this too. So in your guys' opinion, do you think that someone has to be straight out a Democrat in order to support you guys as trans people?
I would argue that Democrats barely support us. Democrats don't necessarily do damage to our community in the same way that Republicans do. Democrats are do-nothings, whereas Republicans are actively attacking us.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that logic. I consider myself more of like an independent, but I'm all for trans rights. Like, I'm not saying I see their side, because I don't understand how you can't support and love people and give them human rights, because everyone deserves the same rights. Like, that's just how it should be.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I brought that point up specifically because when you attack a marginalized community in the way that Project 2025 does, it kind of puts that community back into a corner, right? So, like, because that came out and that was implemented into what could be our reality, I feel like as activists and people who are doing groundwork, we have to kind of be like anti this, not necessarily pro this, but like, if you're backed into a corner come this fall, I'll do what I have to do to have my rights, if that makes sense.
No, I understand what you're saying. Do you think, either of you think that it's, I don't want to use the word wrong, I guess, do you disagree, or would you disagree with me if I said, for myself, not other people, for myself, instead of identifying as a man, I prefer to identify as a trans man? I'm not putting that on anyone else.
So long as you recognize that that trans men are men, that you don't take that away from anyone else, by all means, go ahead, call yourself a trans man.
Yeah, that's your personal preference and what you like to be called. I'm not going to tell you any different. That's
Right.
you.
I would never go to like another trans man and say you're not a man. I would just you're a man. I respect you as a man, but for me, I prefer the term trans man. Like that's just how I feel for myself. Okay. Okay. No. I appreciate you letting me up here and explaining some things to me. I just like talking to people and trying to explain my point of view and understand other people's points of view, obviously.
All right, no problem. I appreciate you coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right. I think that was a good live. I feel like we had really good conversations today. I'm really happy with how things went. So thank you all for being here. We ran half an hour over our normal time. Thank you for the ice cream. I appreciate it. And so many new subscribers, so many. Thank you so much to every single one of my new subscribers. Thank you to everyone who sent gift subs, and thank you to everyone who sent gifts. I appreciate you all so much. If you are a new subscriber, don't forget that if you're subscribed to the $5.99 tier, you do get access to the Best Friend Squad Discord, and you get access by clicking this button right here, clicking the benefits tab, and then clicking on the Discord role. If that doesn't work, DM me. Thank you for the like pop. I'm not going to honor it right now because I'm going to log off, but thank you so much all for being here. If you enjoyed this and you're not already following me, thank you so much. Hit that follow button right up top. I will see you guys probably at 7 p.m. tonight, even though the Indiana Fever are playing at 7 p.m. and I want to watch them. But bye, everyone.
Thank you, Adora. Have a good day.
Bye.